us. Happy New Year in advance. We will not be live tomorrow. Give you all a chance to recover. We'll be back in the same bat time, same bat channel on Friday, January 2nd, 2026, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Again, thank you for being here. Tapping is clapping. Liking is loving. Sharing is caring. Please help us get out to the FYP. We've been a bit restricted lately. Just a quick programming note. If you're interested, we had some issues with our store with the Facts HQ yesterday. It seems to have been resolved. You'll find the link to that in the link tree that's in my bio. Go check out the amazing merch that's in there. Also, consider joining our Discord. You know the drill. Tapping, liking. Be sure to join our team. There's a gifting goal today, and we are crowdfunded here. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is through Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Everything is at Factsstillmatter. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. So we're going to play a little game in a little while. It's going to be the headline game. One's real, one's fake. I just decided we're going to have a little bit of fun, just a tiny little bit of fun over the course of the day today. Still have some news to cover. We're also going to talk about some good news. We do have to cover some things that are just, a day in the life in America these days. But yeah, we'll have a little bit of fun. So please join us. Tell your friends, tell your foes. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys very, very much. All right, so let's start with this interesting story first. There's a creator. This just showed up in our mod chat. There's a creator. His name is Brian Krasenstein, and he's on TikTok, and he's on Instagram, and he's on YouTube. And I like his content. You can find him. He posted on X. Zohran Mamdani breaking. Zohran Mamdani is expected to require all New York elementary school students to learn Arabic numerals. As a Jewish American, I still support this 100%. Now, okay, so intended to be controversial, and of course, his comment section just lit up. Here's the story. You can follow along.
Yesterday, I posted this factual tweet and all hell broke loose. I said, Mamdani is expected to require all New York elementary school students to learn Arabic numerals. As a Jewish American, I still support this 100%. In a day, it got 14 million views and 33,000.
14 million views, okay? 14 million views with 33,000 comments.
Comments like this one, and this is why Democrats lose general appeal. Kids can barely count in English. How about focus on improving English education first? Why? WTF is wrong with you people? Teach them banking, how mortgages work, and how not to go into debt. But Brian thinks this is good, LOL, sell out. Because his intent is to turn New York City into an Islamic enclave. WTF would an American elementary school child need to learn Arabic numbers? So for those who don't know, Arabic numerals are the numbers that we currently use.
That's correct. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are Arabic numerals. And the amount of reactions that it got, again, 14 million views, 33,000 comments. I laugh so I don't cry. But yeah, that is it's indicative of a lot of what we see, but I thought that was a hilarious way to start. All right, I want to address this whole situation in Minnesota. I was going to try to stay away from it, talk about it on the surface level, because I don't want to give it any oxygen. But what I find fascinating, and again, you just said it, Real Nurse, our country's ignorant. What I find fascinating is this is an example of the gullible nature of people to believe this guy by the name of Nick Shirley. Let me just give you a little soundbite from Mr. Shirley. He's being interviewed. Question. Listen to his answer.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure.
He's 100% sure that he's true. obviously couldn't answer the question. So for people who don't know, and here's the weirdest part about this entire thing. I'm going to give you a little bit about Nick Shirley's background. I looked into this guy, and I'll tell you my summary after I give you the who he is. YouTuber, content creator. He runs the channel at Nick Shirley. Thank you, NJB. That's pretty cool. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all. Where he posts man-on-the-street interviews, investigative-style reporting, and commentary about current events. His content often focuses on immigration, protest, social issues in the U.S. cities, and political debates. He identifies himself as an independent journalist, which makes me fucking cringe because I consider myself that. Actually, you all consider me that. Okay. He describes himself as such, though his label is sometimes contested by professional journalists. You think? His social media presence has grown significantly, with over 1 million subscribers and hundreds of millions of views across numerous platforms. The dude was born in 2002. Okay? I'm all for young people doing what they love. I have no issue there. No issue there. The problem is, right, he's been known to spread conspiracies. He's been known to provide just misinformation on top of misinformation on top of misinformation. So here we are now, right? The claims connected to this have been long investigated. So there's a local news affiliate, like I always talk to you guys about. Every chance you get to get your news from a local affiliate, I would recommend that over the mainstream side, even if it's affiliated with a larger network. But this is reporting from a local affiliate in Minneapolis. Here you go.
Few of the child care providers featured in Shirley's video, and the director of ABC Learning Center in South Minneapolis tells me he feels as though this is a political and a form of racial profiling. He says that's opposed to a good faith attempt at uncovering fraud. Mako Child Care Center, Sweet Angel Child Care, and ABC Learning Center. These are some of the Minneapolis child care providers featured in this now viral video created by YouTuber Nick Shirley.
I mean, who runs it? Who supposedly runs it?
Somalians.
Accusing the daycares of being fraudulent. We visited a few of the providers on Tuesday and were invited inside the ABC Learning Center by the director, Ahmed Hassan.
There's no corruption going on here.
According to the state, ABC Learning has been open for about 6 years and is able to serve up to 40 kids at a time.
That's their classroom. They eat here.
Hassan says the center is open 7 days a week, and he was there when Shirley showed up exactly 2 weeks ago.
That's the one with the masked people and doesn't have a plate.
This surveillance video captures Shirley arriving at the center a little after noon. Hassan says he was only there for a few minutes and that he was accompanied by masked men in a vehicle with no license plates.
A lot of people are not feeling safe, you know.
It's ridiculous.
Some people believe him, you know. The viral video was shared everywhere. It's more political rather than corruption.
The state says all of the centers featured in Shirley's video were visited by inspectors within the past 6 months and again this week after the video was published.
Get arrested. Bye.
Meanwhile, Hassan says he and other employees are receiving threatening phone calls from people across the country.
We wanted this propaganda and attacks to stop.
We are still waiting on those results from yesterday's state inspections. I have called and emailed the Department of Children, Youth, and Families several times today, and of course we'll update you as soon as I do hear back. We've also learned within the last hour that Republican Representative Nolan West, who is the chair of the Children and Families Finance and Policy Committee, sent a letter to Commissioner Tiki Brown questioning some of the statements that she made in a briefing yesterday regarding the centers shown in Shirley's video. And we do have that full letter posted on KARE11.com.
So, the obvious, you would expect, really no different than some of the bullshit claims that the right-wing circles tried to make in Springfield, Ohio, about they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. And the Haitian community in and around Springfield were in fear of their life, had death threats against them, all kinds of shit. So now that's happening again, based on this guy who is not a fucking journalist, who's a right-wing conspiracy theorist. His video gets retweeted by Elon. His video gets retweeted by J.D. Vance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So people in this country, the people who are, you'll see it, they'll be chirping, Minnesota fraud. You'll see it this morning. By the way, everybody keep tapping and sharing, please. Let's get out to the FYP. You're going to see it this morning. Talk about the fraud in Minneapolis. This guy is the source of this story. This investigation has been going on forever, for like 6 years. Initially opened up during the Biden administration. There's investigations, people have been charged, okay? But that now the attacks are being levied against the Somali community because racism, right? And now we know that the Trump administration is now going to freeze funds for childcare services in Minnesota. Why? Why are we doing that? Yeah, here's the story. This is reported by the AP. This just came out this morning, as a matter of fact. President Trump's administration announced yesterday that it's freezing child care funds to Minnesota and demanding an audit of some daycare centers after a series of fraud schemes involving government programs in recent years. DHS Secretary, Deputy Secretary of HHS Jim O'Neill said on the platform X that the move is in response to blatant fraud that appears to be rampant in Minnesota and across the country. Because this guy, Nick Shirley, this conspiracy theorist. So what this is telling us is that the right-wing conspiracy theorists who are so desperate, and the MAGA voters who are so desperate to not talk about the fact that their boy is all over the Epstein files, they're going to choose to believe this dude, Nick Shirley. They're not going to believe science. They're not going to believe math. They're not going to believe doctors. They're not going to believe educators. They're not going to believe court records. They're not going to believe judges. They're not going to believe witness testimony. They're not going to believe people in his own party commenting on things he's done. They're not going to believe global intelligence services. They're not going to believe our allies. They're not going to believe the investigations that have been done that have uncovered all this information. No, they're not going to believe all that. But instead, they're going to believe this guy. That's kind of why I didn't want to talk about it, because it is just fucking nonsense. Sadly, people will be harmed. There will be threats. I'm anticipating violence against the Somali community because people in this MAGA sphere are violent and they are out for blood. And now we know that the Trump administration is cutting funding because he's on the ground in Minnesota. See, this is the thing. See, you understand that some of the most salacious claims from this viral video that he posted, the facility was closed. It wasn't even business hours. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It wasn't even business hours. But again, believe what you want. Believe what you want. It just shows us a lot, quite frankly. That you would choose to decide, because you're so desperate for a distraction, that you're going to believe this guy Nick Shirley. He's a member of LDS. His videos have taken him to multiple countries, and he has even shared footage inside controversial settings like prisons and political protests. He's also been featured in material involving political campaigns and figures. Shirley's released a long video alleging widespread fraud in Minnesota daycare centers receiving public funds, showing apparently empty facilities and questioning the oversight. It's became extremely viral online with over 100 million views on X and then millions more on YouTube. The combination of dramatic claims about government fraud, on-the-ground footage, and rampant amplification by political figures made this one of his most widely seen reports. Come on. Come on. But you guys do you. All right. We're going to spend some time this morning talking about windmills. I shit you not. Because the president has this obsession that we know that goes way back about windmills. There's a few other stories though that I want to talk about. The president issued his first pardon of his second term, and this story is pretty wild and shows how the vindictive nature of our president. U.S. President Trump vetoed a major drinking water project in Colorado, drawing immediate condemnation from Colorado Republican lawmaker Lauren Boebert, a former loyal MAGA ally who recently challenged Trump over the Jeffrey Epstein files. The White House announced Trump's veto of the Finish the Arkansas Valley Conduit, or AVC Act, which was approved unanimously by both the U.S. House and the Senate. Again, unanimously. Everybody, 435, 100, 535, unanimously. Okay? It was approved unanimously. And a second measure affecting a Florida project late on Tuesday, they were the first two vetoes of Trump's second term. The veto of the Colorado project came after Trump's vow to retaliate against the state for keeping his ally Tina Peters in prison. Now, of course, we can draw some conclusions, right? This bill, the Arkansas Valley Conduit Act, provided clean water for parts of Colorado. That's it. When would you ever see legislation? Think about this. The fact that it was unanimous would tell you that likely it's a pretty good thing, right? It's a pretty good thing if it's unanimous. It's unanimous. He's had this thing for Jared Polis, who's the governor of Colorado. He obviously is pissed off at Boebert because her signing on to the Epstein petition or the discharge petition and eventually voting for it. And the Tina Peters is still in jail. And don't forget, he went out on Truth Social and said, I'm going to pardon her. Dude, your pardon of her is irrelevant because this is a state crime. She's in state prison, not federal prison, but that's fine too. So the veto on the project came after Trump's vow to retaliate against the state for keeping his ally Tina Peters in prison, despite his attempt to pardon her earlier in the month, and Boebert's action to force the release of the government's files on J.E. Peters, a former Colorado County clerk, serving a 9-year prison term after being convicted on state charges, for illegally tampering with voting machines in the 2020 presidential election. Trump's pardon covers only federal charges. Well, you know the deal. Here's the story. This is reported on by a local Colorado affiliate.
O'clock, just in the last 90 minutes, we have learned about a bill with bipartisan support that President Donald Trump vetoed.
And that's big news because his longtime ally, Lauren Boebert, was the sponsor. The bill would have provided clean water to rural southeast Colorado. Our Matt Morrow on it for us tonight. Matt.
Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who for years has stood by and been one of President Donald Trump's most ardent supporters, is now publicly criticizing him in a statement she just shared with Fox 31. And this is all about a bipartisan bill that would have helped provide clean water to tens of thousands of people in southeastern Colorado. That bill would help finish the Arkansas Valley Conduit by extending the loan time and cutting the interest. Again, this would have all helped provide clean and reliable water to some 50,000 people in the state. The bill is co-sponsored by Colorado Republican Congressman Jeff Hurd and tied to a Senate bill that both of Colorado's Democratic senators introduced. President Trump just this week vetoed the bill, writing in part, and I quote, "Enough is enough. My administration is committed to preventing American taxpayers from funding expensive
and unreliable projects." Hang on one second. It stopped for some reason.
And unreliable policies. Ending the massive cost of taxpayer handouts and restoring fiscal sanity is vital to the economic growth and the fiscal health of the nation. And to this veto and President Donald Trump, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert has this to say, quote, "I must have missed the rally where he stood in Colorado and promised to personally derail critical water infrastructure projects. Ooh. My bad. I thought the campaign was about lowering costs and cutting red tape. But hey, if this administration wants to make its legacy blocking projects that deliver water to rural Americans, that's on them. I'm going to continue fighting for Colorado and standing up for our rural communities, our farmers, and every family that deserves safe, reliable drinking water without decades more delay." Whew. And Congresswoman Boebert is not the only one criticizing President Trump tonight. Colorado Senator and former Governor John Hickenlooper says the president is, quote, "playing partisan games and punishing Colorado by making rural communities suffer without clean drinking water." Matt Marr.
So again, if we were to track this, right, the district that Lauren Boebert represents is largely red. She's the one that sponsored this bill as a co-sponsor, directly impacting her community, which means a large percentage of the people impacted by this would be Trump voters. And here we are, him saying, fuck you, because he's a petty ass little bitch. So Boebert has responded again. Boebert has said, quote, "This isn't over." After the president issued his first veto of the second term to reject that long-delayed water pipeline project. Simple quote. "I must have missed the rally where he stood in Colorado and promised to personally derail critical water infrastructure projects. My bad. I thought the campaign was about lowering costs and cutting red tape. This isn't over," she says. Like, you know, we've discussed a couple times this week about the fracturing within MAGA. I mean, you've lost Boebert, you've lost Nancy Mace, you've lost MTG, you've lost others. But again, nothing to see here. It's totally fine, right? It's too expensive to have clean water, apparently. These are rural communities, right? These are rural communities. He's got a hair across his ass because of Jared Polis and because of Tina Peters and because of Boebert. So what do you, oh, thank you for helping us get that gift goal, guys. Let me reset this. How do we do that? Oh, these are new. Okay. Hang on a second. That's crazy. They've changed it. Oh, that's scary. Something's changed. Oh, gosh. I'll do that. I don't mind change, but I get a little wiggy. So sorry about that. Anyway, I mean, talk about a petty ass little bitch that our president is. You just can't leave it alone because he thinks everything's out of spite, right? So, yeah. Anyway, I thought that was a hilarious story. Okay, let's talk about a few other things that are on the president's mind before we get into our quiz. Okay, Dems law. Oh, okay, Sam. Oh, so Sam. You know, it's funny because Sam's here every single day. We love our Sam. This is not our Sam. Sam's here every day, complaining about me, making statements like this, but yet he's here every single day. Now, I know when you sent me that little love letter, Sam, that you wanted an invitation into the throuple. I'm sorry, the application list is really, really long, and my amazing mod team is screening everyone. You didn't spell your name right, Sam, on your application, so I'm sorry, you're out. I'm attracted to smart people. That would make me a sapiosexual, FYI. So, sorry, Sam. Bye-bye. Yeah, exactly. Bad, Sam. Bad. Exactly. Okay. So... This story is really, really wild. Before I play it for you, though, actually, let's just do it now. So there's if you don't have a True Social account, I don't recommend it. By the way, one of our mods, Legend, who does our background, is a massively skilled, highly skilled, and very effective troller on True Social. So I won't share with you what his username is unless he wants me to, but he does some great work. The president was in a bit of a panic, I guess you could say, overnight, because he is now, well, it's not new, but his obsession with windmills. I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but this is a post on True Social. Hold on. This. Move that. Windmills are unaliving all of our beautiful bald eagles. Okay? And then you look here at the picture, right? Right there. That's a falcon. Okay? That is a falcon. It's not an eagle. And in particular, it's not a bald eagle. But that's so that, and by the way, this picture was taken in 2017, and it's not even in our country. There are reports that it's in Israel. Okay? It gets worse, though, or better, I guess you could say, because there's another one. There's another picture. There's a whole series. So he's got this up on his True Social page as well. Okay? All this. And he made this post. I got to read it to you. It made me laugh. Well, actually, instead of that, I'm just gonna play this moment that I found because I knew there was one where he went off on windmills. This is a wild back, but here you go. He needs somebody needs to take Papa home.
Allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. And I'm not talking about airplanes. I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States. And you look up and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China, almost all of them. When they start to rust and rot in 8 years, You can't really turn them off. You can't bury them. They won't let you bury the propellers, you know, the props, because there's a certain type of fiber that doesn't go well with the land. That's what they say. The environmentalists say you can't bury them because the fiber doesn't go well with the land. In other words, if you bury it, it will harm our soil. The whole thing is a con job. It's very expensive. And in all fairness, Germany tried it, and wind doesn't work. You need subsidy for wind, and energy should not need subsidy. With energy, you make money. You don't lose money. But more important than that is it ruins the landscape. It kills the birds. They're noisy. You know, you have a certain place in the Massachusetts area that over the last 20 years had 1 or 2 whales wash ashore, and over the last short period of time, they had 18. Okay? Because it's driving them loco. It's driving them crazy. Now, windmills will not come. It's not going to happen in the United States.
What?
And it's very expensive, and I would love to see. I mean, today I'm playing the best course, I think, in the world, Turnberry. What? Even though I own it, it's probably the best course in the world, right?
What?
And I look over the horizon, and I see 9 windmills. It's like great. At the end of the 18th, I said, isn't that a shame? What a shame.
What?
You have the same thing all over Europe in particular. You have windmills all over the place. Some of the countries prohibit it, but people ought to know that these windmills are very destructive. They're environmentally unsound, just the exact opposite. Because the environmentalists, they're not really environmentalists. They're political hacks. These are people that they almost want to harm the country. But you look at these beautiful landscapes all over the world. Many countries have gotten smart. They will not allow it. They will not.
But fraud in Minnesota. But what about Biden? Was that the weave? Somebody said this in the chat. Don Quixote, Sancho Panza. They'll be cruising the countryside with toothbrushes and taking out windmills. That's your boy, MAGA. That would be your boy. That's fine. Nothing to see here. Nothing more important to do than to talk about windmills. That's fine. No big deal, right? All your idiotic wind turbines and solar panels haven't lowered our electricity bills 1 penny. Oh, Rizzo. Oh, who hurt you, Rizzo? Who hurt you? Anyway, yeah. So I'm glad to know that is such a priority of our administration, right? That we've now got the president of the United States using his social media platform, Lie Social, to tell people the dangers of windmills and how bald eagles are dying because of them, even though the picture is not of a bald eagle, it's actually of a falcon, and it's not even taken in our country. So there's that too, okay? Just wanted to say that. Just wanted to throw that out there. But nothing to see here. I wanted to also, before we get too much deeper into our show today, because the deeper the better. But I wanted to play a little bit of sound because, again, I want to remind people that MAGA voters vote. So here's this.
These are MAGA's words of wisdom.
Cause of the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War in the 1800s.
What was the cause of the Civil War?
What do you think the cause of the Civil War was?
I don't know.
What would you say is the cause of the Civil War?
The Civil War? What caused the Civil War? They mostly, I'm thinking of the first war when we became Americans.
And then we had a Civil War. What do you think caused our Civil War?
Sin, I suppose,
Sin.
There was
Something evil. Mankind is hard on each other, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you think, sir, was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Of the Civil War? Well, let's see. The North and South, they couldn't get along. It could happen here, too.
Do you think we're near that?
Hear what?
Do you think we're getting toward a civil war again?
The good Lord only knows, but I think, you know, if he thought it was going to end up this way, people are supposed to get along, aren't we? We're all Americans, not just Democrats and Republicans.
What do you think is the cause of the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War?
Well, I think the Democrats are pushing the race issue extremely far. I had a black man at my door the other day.
Oh my God.
I don't have an issue with race, but they're making it such a big issue. They're making it, you know, just even with this Claudia Gay, that she was asked to resign from this college in Harvard. It's not a race issue, but they're making it that, and I don't agree with that.
What about the Civil War in the 1800s? What do you think was the cause of that?
Oh, yeah, that was slavery, wasn't it?
Seems that way. What do you think caused the Civil War?
It's probably the division of states and the people.
Over what?
Over what?
Well, right now they're trying to take the people's right to vote away. I mean, if you're in Colorado,
what?
And I think Trump probably actually won Colorado, whether it says it on paper or not.
What?
Like I said, I've watched a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of voter fraud, a lot of when you can't control all the write-in ballots and stuff like that. So, you know, the sad part about it is Trump actually told us before this even happened, this is what they were going to do, and they did it. I mean,
that part right there, just a little pause. He told us that they were going to rig the election, and then they went out and did it. And this guy thinks that Trump was informing them of the truth. Okay.
I know a pile of people, and I drove.
Do you think that we're on the precipice of another civil war?
Not that we're going to start a war, but I think people are going to get fed up. And I think, you know, there was riots in the street how many years ago? Crazy everywhere.
Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? You're a stupid person. So we have the worst education almost in the large world, the world that people know about.
As a progressive, I want to overfund public education. I want every single school in America to have the best of the best. I want civics education taught. I want current events taught. I want media literacy. Our gifting is suspended again. I don't know why that keeps happening, but I don't know what's going on. But please help us out. Keep tapping. You guys know the drill. I want, again, public education overfunded. I don't want our schools to go without ever. I want curriculum that's built around critical thinking and media literacy. I want to have the best arts and humanity education available on earth. I want teachers to be fought over. I want their salaries to match their experience and their skill and their responsibility. I want them to be recruited like you would recruit an athlete. I want school districts across the country fighting over teachers. The reason I say that is obvious based on what we just listened to. And not only that, the whole Civil War debate, but people believing Nick Shirley. People investing their time making claims of someone who has absolutely no credibility as a journalist, right? He's not fake news, but everybody else is. Okay, got it. Real quick, I want to thank, hang on a second here. My apologies. Thank you to Nils. Thank you, Nils. That's very kind of you. You'll keep it coming. Your work is crucial. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so very, very much for your 50 on the PayPal. I appreciate that very, very much. You're very kind. So I don't, let me say, I don't want to say this. I don't, yeah, I do mean to mock them. You claim to be a patriot and you don't even understand. Now, my theory on the whole not wanting to talk about the Civil War is because they don't ever want to admit that slavery, first of all, ever even existed, or that well, we can't talk about things like that are bad because that's a part of our history that we don't want our little privileged white kids to know about. Okay. Everybody, tap like crazy, please. We're getting reported. I don't know why, because people are in here. I need your help, friends. I need you to tap like crazy. I need you to gift like crazy. I need you to share like crazy. This is what happens when people are triggered. Okay. So everybody tap like crazy, gift like crazy, share like crazy. Appreciate you all very, very much. Anywho, this is what happens when people are not committed to the cause. I know you can't gift. I know that's bad timing. Gift. We don't know why gifting is suspended for some reason. Who knows? But anyway, tapping, love F1 comments. You guys know the drill. Well, this is the problem though. When you heard that one guy say, "Oh, he told us in advance it was going to happen." Sure, he did. Of course he did. Of course he told you that. Of course he told you he's going to, the election was rigged. Of course he said that. Of course he did. Of course. No problem. Absolutely. Yes, sure. He totally did that. So let's move to another story because this one is, again, hilarious. So Pam Bondi is not the brightest bulb in the tree. She posted this on her X account. Since day one, the Trump administration and this Department of Justice have been fighting to end the drug epidemic in our country. President Trump closed the border, DOJ agents, et cetera, et cetera. This is the chart that she put on her post. Look at the end date. From October 2015 to October 2024. You know what happened to this post after she realized it? She took it down. So you give credit to the Biden administration, right? And the Trump administration. Well, we saw a spike from COVID, but then we saw the numbers precipitously decline. And in this particular post, this is Pam Bondi's X account. There you go. From October 2015 to October 2024. And then she took the post down. Why would she have to do that if the information that she wanted to share, which is good news, but then you would be paying homage to Joe Biden? Exactly. Thanks, Joe. What about Biden? Biden solved the drug problem, according to Pam Bondi. Wait, did you just say, wait, what? You just said that Biden, but what? Like, how can you be? It just shows how incompetent these people are. They're so pathetically incompetent. Corruption and incompetence and malignant narcissism and just this fealty to this despicable human being. This is what you get. This is what you get. You get people doing this shit. You get his voters supporting journalists that aren't journalists. You get the president talking about fucking windmills. Don't forget, he's the one that made the claim that China produces a lot of wind and solar products, panels, fins, etc., claiming that they don't even have any solar farms in China and wind farms. Yeah, they do. They've got more than anybody. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? See, this is, again, here's the thing, guys. For those like the bad Sam that are in the chat, this is what they think of you. All right? This is what they think of you. We know how stupid it is. We know how just pathetic it is. They're doing this because they figure you guys will need some fresh meat. So now all of you are sharing this bullshit story of the Minneapolis and the Minnesota fraud. Do you think any of us give a fuck? If people are convicted, if people are tried, if there's evidence presented, they go to jail? This story's been going on for years. It's nothing fucking new. Is it just a coincidence, though? Is it just a coincidence that this story was popped the day after the Epstein files were dropped? Is that just a coincidence? Is there like nothing to see here? Is it just a weird thing, right? No, he wants to talk about how back in 2019 during the Trump administration, the FBI alerted, or the JD Morgan alerted the FBI that there was some weird, suspicious activity reports connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody wants to talk about that, right? You guys don't want to talk about the numerous examples of people committing fraud that Donald Trump has pardoned. You don't want to talk about that. See, this is the thing about it. This is the whataboutism game that is really starting to catch up to you. Specifically because you all think that we're loyal to Democrats. We are not, because they work for us. We don't buy their merch. We don't hang their pterodactyl flags. We don't have truck nuts. Okay? We don't. And because when we bring up the fact, when you try to jump on and say, oh, this is a gotcha moment, I'm going to own that lib. I'm going to call them the Clinton files. And then when we say, we don't give a fuck, investigate them all, throw them all in jail, you're like, what? Yeah, we don't give a shit. Throw them all in fucking jail. None of us care. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And now it's just a coincidence that Pam Bondi's just found 1 million more files? This is the problem. You guys are this is the problem with MAGA voters. You are so, yeah, you're indoctrinated into the cult. Okay. I didn't win my gifting appeal. I don't know why. But anyway, hopefully we'll be back. I don't know how we get out of this, quite frankly, because there's going to be this continued lingering impact that MAGA voters are going to be looking for somebody else to believe. They're going to find more people. There's going to be spaces for people like Nick Shirley. There's going to be spaces for more people like him spreading misinformation because it's worked. He'll get funding from Turning Point or PragerU or some right-wing, news agency, right? They'll find someone to give him a platform, and that he'll be a new voice. Okay, that's fine. Nothing to see here. Hold on a second. Okay. Pam Bondi, again, deleted the post that inadvertently highlighted the Biden administration's success in reducing drug deaths overall. They contacted the DOJ for comment since the post was up, then the post was taken down. And you guys you won't talk about that. You won't talk. You'll just find this little bubble to live in. You'll continue to dance around it, and you will find someone else to blame. But that's fine. Nothing to see here. All right, a little bit of good news. So there was a special election that was held yesterday in Iowa. It was the state Senate. Democratic Rep. Renee Hardman was elected to the Iowa State Senate on Tuesday in a year-end special election, denying Republicans from reclaiming a 2/3 control of the chamber and legislature. This was a seat that's been held by Democrats. It's no surprise. But here's the thing. Kamala Harris won this district. Donald Trump won the state of Iowa. Kamala Harris won this district in Iowa by like 17. There's gifts are back. All right, gift like crazy, guys. Kamala Harris won this seat by 17 points. Her name is Renee Hardman. Renee won this by 43 points. So what that tells me, a continued run on Democrat voter engagement, Democrats and independents. That's a big deal, right? That's a big deal. Obviously a Democrat, sure, in a Democratic seat. But again, 17 points that Kamala Harris won that district by, which is a big win, and then 43% in this election. So they said voter turnout was high. So we're seeing these things across the country as we start talking about 2026. So this is a question for you guys today as we go through the show. Happy New Year, obviously. 2026 will what? And before I lose this topic, I want to remind folks, this is my advice, and you don't have to listen to me, but I don't make resolutions. I set goals. The reason that I don't set resolutions is because it seems like it's not a motivator. Like it's almost like we resolve to eat better, sure, but that doesn't make it specific enough. And the reason I like goals better, and I would encourage people, like for example, if a lot of people, decide they want to lose weight, right? Whatever that might be. Someone might put a goal to say, I want to lose 30 pounds. All right, so if you lose 20 Is that a failure? We don't give ourselves enough credit, right, for the things that we accomplish. We set a target. I don't know if you know about SMART goals, like specific, measurable, attainable, reality-based, and time-dated, right? You can do it in terms of SMART, but just be careful, right? Thank you. That's cool. Just be careful. Like if you're gonna set a goal for yourself, don't beat yourself up if you don't hit the number. But if you've accomplished something, wouldn't you be happy if you lost weight? Sure, we all would, right? I've got a few things that I'm working on. I'm trying to consolidate them, and I stick to it. And I look back on over the course of the year to see if I accomplished some. Some I did this year, some I didn't. Right? So I need to find someone with a boat. My mods know. Anyway, I digress. But these are good indicators for Democratic engagement as we approach the midterms. Primaries are going to be starting soon. People are asking me about the 2028 presidential. I'm not ready to make a prediction yet because I don't know what the field looks like yet. I think a lot of people are waiting on Kamala Harris as to what she decides to do. She's been referencing helping other candidates get elected, so I don't know if that means that she's definitely not going to run. I don't know what that looks like, but there's a long time, but not too long. I'd like to see some movement. So anyway, okay. All right. Let me see here. I'm going to do this now. We talk in terms of how a president's responsibility to unite. So we've seen some attempts at some bipartisan relationships between governors, because the more we go through this year, I think you're going to start to see really a lot more governors across the country, both Republican and Democrat, standing up to a lot of this stuff, which I think is weird because the conservative movement's all been about states' rights, brother, right? The individual states, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're starting to see a lot more cooperation across party lines. So I'm going to play for you some sound from Utah Governor Spencer Cox, who was exposed during the Charlie Kirk situation because he was just making up nonsensical stories. And he's in this conversation with Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania. But I just want you to listen to what Utah Governor Spencer Cox says about the president.
I know that the president disagrees with me. He and I have had these conversations. I have to say, during the Charlie Kirk shooting, in the conversations we had, he talked to me about nonviolence and trying to be a voice for that. I understand he's not interested in uniting the country, and he would tell you that, I think, if he were sitting here with us tonight. But I would also say that it's not going to be a president who fixes this. It's not going to be two governors who fix this. It really has to be all of us. The politicians that we elect are a reflection of we the people.
I think. So the president, in his words, the president is not interested in uniting the country, and he would tell you that. Well, we know that. That's not shocking, right? But there you go. I mean, it is kind of the president's job, to try to bring the country together. But no, instead he wants to veto bills that would provide clean water to parts of rural Colorado, voters that support him. No, instead he wants to put farmers out of business. No, instead he wants to just delegitimize the press. Wants to call people who are standing in opposition to his administration threats, right? We know that there are creators that are getting knocks on the door because they're getting death threats. There are people that are getting, the side eye. That's the president. No interest in turning down the temperature. None whatsoever. None. Yeah. But again, no one should be surprised by that, right? Okay. Everybody keep tapping, please. Thank you all. Andrew Tate's name is back in the news again. And I think this is, again, interesting. He appeared recently with Benny Johnson, okay? So I'm going to play you the sound from Mr. Tate, and we'll talk about it because, again, this speaks to exactly who the MAGA movement is and how the people that are included in this, the people that are looked up to in this particular moment in history. Never mind the fact that he's got trafficking minors, publicly aligning himself with Trump, serious charges of grape, trafficking, manipulation, etc. This is who they are. These are the people that are connected to this administration. These are the people that are becoming prominent voices. Even though he just got his ass kicked in a boxing match, which was great. But this is what Andrew Tate had to say about his relationship with the president. And then you're going to hear Alina Habba. Don't forget who Alina Habba was. Alina Habba, also part of the administration, one of Trump's trial lawyers, was a person that was appointed to a U.S. attorney in New Jersey, and then she had to have her cred pulled because she was appointed illegally. She comments as well. So this is Andrew Tate first.
Close to the Trump family. I know them well, and I spoke to Barron after the incident, and I look forward to, once I am free, being with Donald Trump in person and reminding him that he's a bulletproof badass.
This is the bulletproof badass, what Andrew Tate calls the president. And then he's being interviewed with Benny Johnson.
The attorney for President Trump, somebody who has been a fighter for the America First Party. Her name is...
Okay, again, so Benny Johnson has Andrew Tate on his show, and he's introducing Alina Habba. Andrew Tate, a guy, hold on, before I play that any further. Andrew Tate has been charged with, let's see, here's the list. It's important for context. In Romania, he and his brother were arrested in December of 2022 by Romanian authorities. They've been under investigation and charged with rape, human trafficking, and forming an organized crime group to sexually exploit women. Additional investigations in Romania include probe of allegations of trafficking minors, money laundering, and attempting to influence witnesses. In the United Kingdom, in May of this year, British prosecutors authorized 21 criminal charges against Andrew and Tristan Tate. This includes charges such as rape, human trafficking, actual bodily harm, controlling prostitution for gain, basically a pimp, in the U.S. Federal interactions. In 2025, U.S. Customs and Border seized devices from Andrew and Tristan Tate when they arrived in Florida. A White House official intervened to return the devices, raising concerns about interference in a potential federal investigation. No federal criminal charges have been publicly filed. So again, in Romania, criminal charges, convictions in criminal charges, rape, trafficking, organized crime. United Kingdom, 21 charges, including more of the same, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's Andrew Tate, okay? And again, he's on Benny Johnson's show, and you heard how he's, this is his statement. Tate says he spoke to Trump's son, Barron, and looks forward to being with Trump in person after his legal troubles are behind him, calling Trump a bulletproof badass. And then Alina Habba joins the conversation.
Alina Habba, and she joins us live right now.
Hey.
Hello, Alina.
Hi. Hello. Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Nice to meet you? I'm a big fan? Nice to meet you, Andrew. Nice to meet a trafficker. Nice to meet a rapist. Nice to meet someone who organized a minor prostitution ring. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, says Alina.
Well, nice to meet you. Formal charges against Andrew Tate include rape, human trafficking of minors, sexual intercourse with a minor.
Nice to meet you, Andrew. Red pilling, right? That's true. That's true, Francis. Good call. Not the first time that she's met a rapist. But don't you find that interesting, though, MAGA? Don't you find it interesting that someone who's got all these charges against him, right? In some cases, convictions, all these horrible things that he's done and said about women with witnesses, but you don't believe them. And Alina Habba, who was Donald Trump's personal lawyer, right? Represented the president and the inner circle, said, I'm a big fan. It's nice to meet you. I'm a big fan. Okay. That's fine. Nothing to see here.
Why do y'all get on here and lie?
Good morning, Red.
You're aware that those charges were completely invalidated.
Uh-huh. In Romania, were they?
All of them.
Really? So you think Andrew Tate is an upstanding
No, I'm not talking about a thought. It is a fact that those charges were invalidated.
I'm asking you.
Why are you promoting misinformation?
I'm asking you. Do you feel like Andrew Tate's somebody we should look up to?
I don't think you should look up to anybody, but why would you come on here and lie?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
Can you tell the 1,000 people that you just lied to that those...
I didn't lie about anybody.
You did. Those charges were invalidated, and you know it.
Go ahead, prove it. You made that claim. Prove it. Prove it. Go ahead. Turn your mic off. Turn your mic on and prove it. You made the claim. You said the charges were invalidated.
They're on the internet.
What do we got?
We are on the internet, sir. It takes 2 seconds.
What do you got?
In December of
AI overview,
2024, a judge invalidated the indictment and sent it back to prosecutors due to procedural mistakes.
Really?
Right there
The brothers were indicted.
Romania.
They were indicted.
Criminal.
What were they indicted for, though? What were they indicted for?
It doesn't matter what they were indicted for. It was invalidated. The shit was wrong.
What
lied.
were they indicted for? What were they indicted for?
They lied, sir.
What were they indicted for?
Why would you name yourself Factsstillmatter?
What were they indicted for? Procedural errors. Keep reading. Did you read the rest of it? Did you read the rest of it? Did you read it? Did you bother even reading it? Did you bother? See, that's the problem with you people. You don't look past the headline. And by the way, he was found guilty. Hang on a second. Hang on one second. Hang on. Hang on. The proceedings are ongoing and complex in Romania with some procedural setbacks for prosecutors. The case has not been dismissed. Not been dismissed. Okay? Has not been dismissed. So the question that I have for you, though, the question I have for you is, you, like most people, are just going to look past what he was charged with in numerous cases? I didn't say guilty. I explained to you what the charges were. So if I said guilty, my apologies. Not my intention. We're talking about what the charges are. You said the cases were dismissed. They have not been dismissed. So you're wrong. But thanks for playing. Okay, Red. Okay. Come on up here again.
Now, can you walk back? Can you walk it back?
Red.
No. You already
I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you. You said the case. You said the cases were dismissed, Red. You said the cases were dismissed.
I specifically said invalidated, and then I showed it to you.
No, they're not invalidated.
I said invalidated,
you're wrong about that.
And then I showed you that it was invalidated.
No, they're not. So then why are the cases still ongoing?
So I'm going to show it to you again, okay? I'm going to show it to you
again. My question. Red.
You came on here and you lied.
Why are the cases still ongoing?
Why are you lying? You just looked up if he was guilty.
Why can't you answer my question?
Wait.
Why can't you answer my question? No, you stop. No, you stop.
Come on, dude.
Why are the cases still ongoing?
You just looked up what was he found guilty of, didn't you?
No, Red.
Didn't you?
Again, if I said he was guilty, that was a mistake.
And you seen that he was not found guilty of anything. And instead of saying that to the 1,000 people, instead of saying that to the 1,000 people that you just lied to, decided to omit.
Red.
Because you are a liar.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question again.
Being
you said the case was dismissed. You said the case was dismissed.
I didn't say anything.
You said the case was invalidated and dismissed.
You
but the case is still ongoing.
I showed you that it was invalidated.
But the case is still ongoing.
You want me to show you?
But the case is still ongoing, Red.
Would you
see? This is what you don't understand, right? The case is still ongoing. So if you want to continue this conversation, you have to tell me why the case is still ongoing. Tell me why.
Stop lying. First, you have to stop lying.
Tell me. I just addressed it.
Are we going to have a conversation?
Then you have to stop interrupting. Then you have to stop interrupting. Okay? It's really simple. It's really simple. You said, hold on. You said the case was invalidated. I'm asking you, first of all, to provide evidence. No, it's not a fact because the case is still ongoing. Invalidated would mean the case is ended. The case is still ongoing.
It's a fact. It's a fact. I already
No.
showed it to you.
Okay, let's bring it up again. Let's bring it up again. Let's bring it up again. The brothers were indicted in June on charges of forming a what does it say? An organized criminal group, human trafficking, and rape. However, in December, a judge invalidated the indictment and sent it back to prosecutors due to procedural mistakes. That does not mean the case is over.
Excuse me. Was the case invalidated?
Again, no, it was not. Prosecutors
okay, you're ridiculous.
Bring it back up again. Bring it back up
You're
again.
just a
Go
liar.
ahead, coward.
You're just a liar. You
Bring
have
it back
no
up again.
truth
Go ahead.
inside of you. There's something wrong with you.
Hey, coward, bring it back up again.
You're the fucking
bring
coward.
It back up again.
You can't
bring it back up again. Bring it back up again. You won't do it, will you? Bring it back up again.
Wrong.
Go ahead.
Admit you were
bring
wrong.
It back
I
up
just
again.
showed it to you.
Bring it back up again. Bring it back up again. Why won't you do it?
Invalidated.
Prosecutors. What does it say?
Invalidated the
prosecutors are currently working to correct these issues.
Invalidated
what does that say right there?
Was it invalidated?
Mute him, please. Mute him, please.
Was it invalidated?
Mute him, please.
Was it invalidated?
Prosecutors are currently working to correct these issues and have expanded their investigation. Prosecutors are currently working to correct these issues and have expanded their investigation to include more alleged victims and additional charges such as trafficking of minors. What does it say right there? Yeah, validated the indictment, sent it back to prosecutors. This is your claim. Sent it back to prosecutors. Prosecutors are currently working to correct these issues.
Just claimed that it wasn't.
No, that's not what I claimed. That's not what I claimed. I said the cases. Bro, then why can't you read the rest of it? Then read the rest of it. Why won't you do that? Why are you afraid of that? Tell me why. Tell me why. You won't. Invalidated based on the initial indictment, sent it back to prosecutors. That's what I read. If I said they were found guilty, that's on me. That's a mistake. I can own that. I can own that. But when you send a case back, that requires prosecutors to reinvestigate. In fact, they even included more victims. So, first of all, the fact that you're defending Andrew Tate, my guy, that's more about you than me. You wouldn't read the whole paragraph now, would you, Red? You wouldn't read the entire paragraph. That's all I'm asking you. That's all I'm asking you. It's right there in front of you, and you wouldn't read that. By the way, Red, your would be YOU''RE. So, Red, if you'd like, just go back and read it again, and then read the second half of the paragraph that you didn't want to read, where the judge sent it back to the prosecutors. Okay? Thank you. Appreciate you. Anyway, you're defending Andrew Tate? Okay, that's fine. That's more about you, Red. And again, if I said that he was found guilty, that's on me. That's a mistake. I didn't say that because I believe in the criminal justice system. But we have numerous charges against him, and the charges are the same thing. Romania, UK, all the same. All about women, all about minors, all about trafficking. But again, nothing to see here. Okay. Okay. I appreciate you bringing up your source, Red, because it kind of dunked on you. But anyway, that's fine. Oh, here we go. Let's check in on the news from abroad. Hello, not from abroad, from abroad.
Well, from both, in fact.
You know, but I would never say that.
News from abroad, literally. I just want Red to know, Andrew Tate made his money off sad, angry men like you.
Mm-hmm.
You're the type of man that he grifts from, not just from Hustlers University, but also from his online cam business, where he employs vulnerable young women to scam money off sad, lonely men like you, Red. So and he's admitted that. You can go look this up. I'm sure ChatGPT will have a whole ton to say about it. He's admitted that he has scammed money from men. So not only is he making money from vulnerable women, many of whom he brags about having duped into doing that kind of work, but he's then scamming money from people like you. And if you're one of the victims of him, I'm not sad about that, Red. I am sad for the other people, not you.
Me too. Yeah, it's not your fault you're so gullible, Red. Maybe you should have stayed in school. How are you? What are you? Any plans to celebrate tonight? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to have I think I'm going to go live actually for my New Year. I'm not feeling like being very out and about this year. So I'm going to I think I'm going to do a live from about 6 p.m. Eastern to about 8 p.m. Eastern, which will cover my midnight, and then we can do the fireworks and stuff, which is always nice.
There you go. There you go.
So,
well, thank you for the reminder. I hope 2026 is a better year for you.
I do too, and I hope it's an awesome year for you as well, Steve.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. We love you and Happy New Year.
You too. See you later.
All right, bye. They've changed the settings on this thing. What do they do? No, I don't know.
I can do it myself. It's fine.
I got you. I got you. Sorry. I'm sorry. I can do it. Everything's different. Anyway, I think we sufficiently addressed that. See, that's what accountability looks like. If you make a mistake, you address it, but you can't just leave the conversation out there. So, oh, it's invalidated. Okay, but that's because of this, and they sent it back, and the prosecutors are going to re-prosecute. But that's fine. If you want to go through life defending people like Andrew Tate, that's more reflective on you, Red, than it is on us. And, my guy, you got suckered. You really did. You got suckered. But anyway. Okay, a few other things, and then I want to get into our little game we're going to play today. Well, let's check in with Newsmax because they're trying to deflect away from the economic struggles before we play our little game today. Everybody keep tapping and sharing, please. Here, this is Ron Johnson appearing on Newsmax. It is now, this was just yesterday. We are now a day and a half, half a day now away from the new year. So 11 months into the Trump administration, and yet they still want to try to find a way to blame Joe Biden.
It. And so when do we get there, to the fact that Americans need to feel the economic progress that we're experiencing under President Trump and Republicans?
Well, I think we're all pleasantly surprised by the third quarter GDP numbers of 4.3%. The problem is that Democrats, Biden left so many enormous messes. The open borders, the war, the hangover from 40-year high inflation, which devalued our dollar from the dollar held in 2019 is only worth 80 cents. That doesn't go away. That's permanent devaluation. So it takes time to turn the situation around so people can feel it. People's real wages are increasing. But the good news is President Trump is focused on this. He comes from the private sector. Everything he's doing it's the right thing. Reduce regulation, reduce taxation. How quickly that kicks in where people really feel it, I really can't predict that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Ron. Okay. So, friends, I have a feeling, you know what? I bet Red believes that the inflation number is real. I bet Red believes that the 4.3 GDP is just because consumers are spending more money. I bet Red believes that. I bet Red believes that Donald Trump's not in the Epstein files. That'd be my guess. Anyway, what about Biden? So what we have here is desperation from members of Congress, members of the House of Representatives, members of the Senate. The desperation because they know they cannot go back to their districts or to their states and talk about economic growth. They can't. They can't talk about affordability. They can't do it. There's no way they can do it because the data just isn't there. In fact, we see it in the polling. We see it everywhere. It's all over the place. So what are they left with? To try to continue to blame it on Joe Biden. All of it. All of it. All of it. So bad. Don't forget the whole situation with the National Guard officer, remember, that was unalived in D.C.? That person who did that, allegedly, was allowed into the country under the Biden administration, yes, but their asylum claim was granted under the Trump administration. Definitively. There's no denying it. Those are the facts. But they'll try to blame that on Biden too. This is how bad things are. This is how bad things are, right? Yeah, so there's that. And then I think there's one thing. Did I cover that one? All right, here's another example of our president who's struggling. This is part of that interview yesterday, or the presser day before yesterday, with President Zelensky. This is quite disturbing. He's asked a question about, well, he's answering a question to the press. Well, here you go.
Mr. President, maybe you want to say a few words, and then we'll speak over the next couple of weeks. We'll speak probably quite a bit, but we'll speak tomorrow. Thank you very much.
You said at the top that you plan to speak again tomorrow. Is that correct?
I might. I mean, it depends on what happens tomorrow. If there's an additional something to add, otherwise there's no reason to. And if there's something that comes up, I'd speak, but otherwise I don't think there's any reason to. Probably quite a bit, but we'll speak tomorrow. Thank you very much.
What?
But we'll speak tomorrow. What? Thank you very much.
What, dude? You literally just, within a minute, you said, we'll be speaking tomorrow, and then when the press asks you, so you're speaking tomorrow? Oh, no, we're not speaking tomorrow. For fake news. What are you guys talking about? Anyway, all right, let's get into our game. So what I want to do for you guys, keep you on your toes, is this little game that I came up with, and I kind of leaned on ChatGPT for some help here. So it's real or fake, okay? Get your mind out of the gutter, okay? Because nobody's ever faked it. Pfft, heck no. Never happened. Never happened. Anyway, so I'm going to read you some headlines, okay? And then it's a simple question. It's a simple ask. Is it real or is it fake? All right? Some of these are obvious. Some of them are really difficult. So I want you all to pay attention. Pay close attention. Get your coffee. Get your English muffin. Get your donut, whatever that might be. And by the way, if you've never had an apple cider donut, you don't know what the fuck you're missing. Okay? All right, here we go. What I'm going to ask you for is to tell me which one of these is real. Okay? A Florida man arrested for assaulting coworker with a live iguana. Florida man arrested for attempting to pay parking tickets with sand dollars. Which one is real? Florida man arrested for assaulting coworker with a live iguana, or B, Florida man arrested for attempting to pay parking tickets with sand dollars. Which one is real? A or B? Okay, it's actually A. It's actually A. That is the real story. Question number 2. Vatican announces priests may bless same-sex couples but not marriages. Vatican installs AI confessional to assist priests during peak hours. Which story is real? A or B? Again, Vatican announces priests may bless same-sex couples but not marriages. Or B, Vatican installs AI confessional to assist priests during peak hours. It's actually A. That's the real story. Vatican announces priests may bless same-sex couples, but not marriages. This is tough. I told you. All right, round 3. Man sues parents for throwing away his adult pornography collection. That's A. B, man sues parents for naming him, quote, literally nobody. Which is the real story? Man sues parents for throwing away his corn collection, or man sues parents for naming him literally nobody? Is it A or B is the real story? It's A. Man sued his parents for throwing away his corn collection. All right. Keep track of your scores here, and then I'll grade you at the end. Round 4. Question A. Japanese company creates wearable tail to help workers express emotions. Or B, Japanese company mandates naps monitored by emotion tracking pillows. A or B? A, Japanese company creates wearable tail to help workers express emotions. Or B, Japanese company mandates naps monitored by emotion tracking pillows. Which one's real? It is A. That is correct. That is the real story. I read that one. I'm like, it's got to be the pillows, right? It's got to be. Nope. The Japanese company creates wearable tail to help workers express emotions. Okay. Round 5. Police warn the public not to approach escaped kangaroo wearing harness. Or B, police warn public not to feed raccoons hot dogs after viral incident. Again, question A, police warn public not to approach escaped kangaroo wearing harness. Or B, police warn public not to feed raccoons hot dogs after a viral incident. Is it A or B? Whoa, that one fooled a lot of you. It's actually A. That's the real story. All right. Round 6. Question A. Billionaire announces underwater wedding venue themed historic disasters. Or B. Billionaire builds replica Titanic submarine despite prior warnings. Which is it? Is it the billionaire announces underwater wedding venue themed historic disasters, or billionaire builds replica Titanic submarine despite poor warnings? A or B? It's B, the billionaire that builds a replica. That's the real one. You guys are not doing very well at this, I must say. I got to check it with the mod team because they're probably pissed. They're probably mad at me. All right. Here we go. Round 7. Question A. Town installs $400,000 public restroom that immediately malfunctions. Or B. Town installs luxury public restroom requiring reservations. Town installs $400,000 public restroom that immediately breaks down, or town installs luxury public restroom that requires reservations. Is it A or is it B? Okay. Well, that's pretty split. It's actually A. A town did install a $400,000 public restroom that requires that immediately started to malfunction. Okay, round 8. Airline asks passengers not to lick plane windows during turbulence. Or B, airline launches standing-only transatlantic flights. Which one? A, airline asks passengers not to lick plane windows during turbulence. Or B, airline launches standing-only transatlantic flights. It's B. Can you imagine a standing-only flight going over what? Okay. Round 9. Question A. A man is fined for repeatedly calling police to report imaginary crimes. Or B. A man is fined for trying to arrest neighbors using homemade badge. And I would like to point out that it was a man. In both of these cases. Enough said. Round 9. Again, man fined for repeatedly calling police to report imaginary crimes. Or B, man fined for trying to arrest neighbors using homemade badge. Is it A or is it B? It probably was in Florida. They're all in Florida. The answer is A. Man fined for repeatedly calling police to report imaginary crimes. Okay. And then round 10, this is the first round. I'll grade you, and then it's going to get harder. Round 10. A zoo asks the public to stop throwing money at monkeys for capitalism. Or B, zoo announces monkeys now paid in fruit-based wages. Is it A or is it B? Zoo asks public to stop throwing money at monkeys for capitalism is A. Or B, zoo announces monkeys are now paid in fruit-based wages. It's A. Okay, so this is a media literacy quiz, ultimately, right? It's a bit tricky, but I want to make sure your brains are still working. If you got 8 to 10 correct, you are a media literacy wizard. How many of you are wizards? Okay. If you got 5 to 7 correct, you are a respectable skeptic. That's if you got 5 to 7 correct. And if you got 0 to 4 correct, you thrive on social media. Oh, how'd we do? How did we do, friends? All right. Okay. All right. So most of you are mid. Let me check in with the mod family. How do we do over here, y'all? Okay, that's good. Who's a wizard? Somebody said rigged. Okay. All right. Okay. They're mad at me. That's fine. All right. Now we're going to get into a little bit more of a difficult. These are going to be harder. Okay. Again, this is real or fake, because of course we know that nobody ever fakes anything. All right. One is real. One is fake. A man accidentally live streams himself committing a crime while testing his new phone. Or man is arrested after neighbors realize his security cameras are filming their houses. Is it A or is it B? Again, A, man accidentally live streams himself committing crimes while testing his new phone. Or B, a man is arrested after neighbors realize his security cameras are filming their houses. Is it A or is it B? It is A. That is the real story. Round 2. City spends $2 million on AI chatbot that hallucinates fake laws. City pauses website after residents complain it's too confusing. Again, question A. City spends $2 million on AI chatbot that hallucinates fake laws. Or B, city pauses website after residents complain it's too confusing. Is it A or is it B? The answer is A. City spends $2 million on AI chatbot that hallucinates fake laws. Wow. All right. Round 3. Police department apologizes after posting AI-generated photo of suspect with 6 fingers. Question B. Police department fined for posting mugshots with beauty filters. Again, police department apologizes after posting AI-generated photo of suspect with 6 fingers. Police department fined for posting mugshots with beauty filters. Is it A or is it B? This is crazy. It is A. The police department apologized for posting an AI-generated photo of suspect with 6 fingers. Round 4. School district bans backpacks after students use them to transport chickens. Or B, school district bans hoodies due to anti-authority symbolism. Again, question A. School district bans backpacks after students use them to transport chickens. Or B, school district bans hoodies due to anti-authority symbolism. Is it A or is it B? It is A. School district bans backpacks after students use them to transport chickens. I don't know. I don't know where that is happening, but okay. Okay. Now, Francis, I love you. I really, really love you, but a lot of this has got to be Florida. I mean, can we just be real? I mean, again, Francis, I love you so much with every fiber of my being, but a lot of this has got to be Florida, right? It's got to be. Okay. Round 5. Man spends $14,000 to clone dead pet only to discover it behaves differently. Question B. Man sues cloning company after pet clone refuses to recognize him. Question A. Man spends $14,000 to clone dead pet only to discover it behaves differently. Or B. Man sues cloning company after pet clone refuses to recognize him. Is it A or is it B? I'm sure, Francis. It is A. A man spent $14,000 to clone his dead pet only to discover that it behaves differently. Okay. Round 6. A court rules that memes are protected speech in all contexts. Or B, court rules emojis can constitute legal threats in an harassment case. Question A, court rules that memes are protected speech in all contexts, or court rules that emojis can constitute legal threats in harassment cases. Yeah, most of you got that one right. Court rules that emojis can constitute legal threats in harassment cases. Good job, y'all. Pats on the head. All right. Tech company fires employee after internal chatbot reports them for policy violations. Or B, tech company disciplines workers for excessive emoji use in Slack. Tech company fires employee after internal chatbot reports them for policy violations. Or B, tech company disciplines workers for excessive emoji use in Slack. Slack is like a little social platform kind of thing. It's A. Tech company did fire an employee for an internal chatbot report. Our mods are here. They're doing it. Don't worry. They're on it. We're going to go easy on the mods. I get really feral and protective of them. Round 8. Museum removes artwork after visitors repeatedly try to sit on it. Or B, museum installs warning signs after guests attempt to steal concept art. Museum removes artwork after visitors repeatedly try to sit on it, or museum installs warning signs after guests attempt to steal concept art. Is it A or is it B? It is A. Yes, museum removes artwork after visitors repeatedly try to sit on it. Okay. Round 9. And then I've got a bonus question for you. Government agency releases report warning citizens not to commit crimes using smart devices. Or government agencies recommend deleting old social media posts annually. Is it A or is it B? Is it government agencies release reports warning citizens not to commit crimes using smart devices? Or government agencies recommends deleting old social media posts annually? It is A. Government agency actually released a report warning citizens not to commit crimes using smart devices. Okay. And round 10. Zoo evacuates after parrot repeatedly tells visitors to run. Zoo fined after animals trigger emergency alarms. Zoo evacuates after parrot repeatedly tells visitors to run. Zoo fined after animals trigger emergency alarms. It is A. A zoo evacuates after parrot repeatedly tells visitors to run. Here's your bonus. All right. A. AI-generated song legally credited as co-writer under copyright law. Or AI-generated art banned from all major competitions worldwide. Is it A or B? AI-generated song legally credited as co-writer under copyright laws, or AI-generated art banned from all major competitions worldwide? It's A. It is A. All right. Here's the scoring. This one's a little rougher on you guys. If you got 9 to 11 correct, including the bonus question, you are immune to bullshit. Is there anybody that got 9 questions right? I don't think so. If you got 9 to 11 correct, you are immune to bullshit. 6 to 8 correct, you have healthy skepticism. 3 to 5 correct, the internet would eat you alive. Probably does. Or 0 to 2 correct, you believe everything your uncle posts. Okay. Healthy skepticism. All right. Okay. Congratulations. You guys did okay. again, it's a bit of a media literacy game, right? So that's kind of why I wanted to do it. I've done multiple lives on media literacy and confirmation bias and, cognitive dissonance and what's propaganda, what's disinformation, and what's misinformation. So that is kind of a little, wordplay, but I think it's important. I just want to make sure you're keeping your brains working to be able to navigate through stuff. Like, for example, our previous guest, Red, didn't bother to read past what he thought was a gotcha, right? So if you read further, you would understand that, yes, in fact, the case was still active. So there's that. Here come the bots. So we may end up having to turn the comments off, guys. If that happens, I apologize, but the bots have been showing up strong. Here they are again. So we'll probably just turn the comments off. All right, let me just go over here. My mods are angry at me because they didn't like the fact that, did anybody, well, listen, we might need to throw out some more mod applications. If my mod team in particular is not, didn't score very highly, it becomes contentious because they are all wicked competitive, every single one of them. But, it is what it is. Popina, how are you today?
Hello, you can just call me Poppy.
Poppy?
Okay, so I wanted to know if I could add one real or fake.
Women aren't sexy.
Sure. Can you turn off your background noise, though? It's really hard to hear you.
I was watching a movie in the background before I started your live, so it must have started playing.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Okay. I was wanting to know if I could add a real or fake.
Sure.
Okay. A, Donald Trump's wax figure booted from museum after repeated brutal punches and taken down by staff. Okay?
Okay.
Or B, Donald Trump's wax figure comes to life, stages midnight press conference in the museum.
Like which one is real?
Yes.
Well, I think it depends on what's in your coffee, so to speak. But I would say A is probably real.
It's definitely real. When I tell you, I laughed about that for about 20 minutes when I figured that out. So
that's pretty funny.
A little
that's
laugh
funny.
this morning. That's all.
Thank you for that, Poppy. I appreciate you. Happy New Year. You too. See you later. Take care. That's pretty funny. Wow. All right. Got a few more people that have requested. You're right, Francis. That press conference would certainly be more eloquent. No doubt about it. Okay. All right. Oh, hello. What is up, my patriot-loving friend?
Nothing much. Just, living on top of the NFL. Feels good again. Feels good again.
Let's go.
In 2026, what we're going to see is like the New England Patriots winning the Super Bowl again. That's what we're going to see.
What is on your mind on this lovely day?
Just try to play catch up with politics, honestly. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. But, that's why we're here, to try to crack our way through it.
Yeah, I think it's to take the most important things that are coming out. Because people says really dumb things all the time, so it's just really hard to cover all of that.
It is. Yeah, it is. We're doing our best. We'll make it through. What's on your plate? So answer this question for me. Happy New Year. 2026 will what?
I think it would be more inspiring.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
I think we always got to find a way forward. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, we will. Have a lovely Happy New Year to you, and then I'm sure we'll be checking in with each other on Sunday.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll talk to you later. All right, bye. Bye. Yeah, they've changed. Like I said, they changed the some of the tools. Anyway, okay, let's go back to our little reindeer game here. You guys did okay. I must say. So for those of you, listen, fake news, if anybody got 9 to 11 correct. Let's be honest, those were tough. there's going to be rebellion and revolt in the mod team. So there may be new applications for new moderators. I'm just saying. Okay, that's fine. All right. I want to get back to a couple things that came out in 2025 as we're kind of looking back and looking ahead a little bit. So these are some tabloid stories that came out during the year of 2025. And if you want to come up, I'm curious. I want to talk to you. I want to find out how you would answer this question. All right. Chinese man who refused to sell his house to make way for a new motorway has ended up stranded in the middle of the 4-lane bypass. Huang Ping, who lives in the Jiangsu province with his younger grandson, was offered 180,000 pounds to vacate the property. He declined, apparently assuming a better offer would follow, but one did not. I do regret it a bit, he admitted. If I could turn back time, I would agree to the demolition conditions they offered. Now it feels like I lost a big bet. So his house is in the middle of a 4-lane bypass. Could have taken the money. Okay. A couple from North Yorkshire defended their decision to name their son Lucifer. Jess Bell and Stephen Wake explained that they had settled on the name after enjoying the Netflix series Lucifer, about the fallen angel. Quote, the name is lovely and it actually means light bringer, which is exactly what he has done for our lives. We are just normal, loving parents and certainly have no interest in associating our son with the devil. Yeah. Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. 7 engineers working on an infrastructure project in Bhopal, India, were suspended after images of a road bridge with a near right angle turn went viral. The engineers said there had not been enough land for a more gradual turn, but an inquiry deemed the bridge over a railway line a safety risk and ordered that major corrections be undertaken. Yeah, so like, you're going over a bridge and there's a sharp right-hand turn on the bridge. Yeah. Nothing to see here, though. Totally fine. Residents of a village near Wrexham became so irate about the state of one of the local roads, they turned it into a pothole theme park. A sign at the entrance to the road in Pontfadog said that pothole land boasted the deepest, longest, widest, potholes in Wales, and that visitors would have the chance to enjoy, quote, 2 kilometers of award-winning potholes with very little actual road to spoil your fun. The attraction was closed after the council began work to fill in some of the potholes. Okay. Yep. For those of you who don't live in, cold climates, most of you don't even really know what potholes are. Due respect. Potholes, there are 5 seasons in Vermont: spring, summer, fall, winter, mud, and stick. And during mud season, which is the transitional period from winter to spring, like the 2 weeks we have for spring, you get potholes that are car swallowers, right? They are way they're like axle deep and they're bad. So I don't know if you have winter in construction. Yeah, well, we have, actually, it's 9 months of winter and 3 months of bad sledding. But potholes, bad. Again, swallowers, yeah, I know, exactly. Sorry, whatever. Anyway, infrastructure investments would help things like that. Although, for those of you who've been in northern New England, you know that there are a lot of dirt roads everywhere, right? So that's what happens. There are well-traveled, there are roads that the dirt roads that people take to work around here. It's so, people are like, oh, it's so romantic. No, it's not. It's harsh. Swallowing holes, exactly. Hey now.
Good morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I just got back from your lovely state before Christmas. So
that's right. You went. Yes. I think I got a message from you. You went skiing. How was it?
Oh, it was amazing. It was really good. Yeah. We got snow every day.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
So
just don't tell people.
Yeah,
don't tell people how great it was.
I won't. I'll keep it for myself, but I'll let you know next time I come up, because we try to get up there a couple times a season. But yeah, we also got a lot of potholes in the desert. I'm not in the desert anymore, but I was, because anytime there was water, they don't have drainage systems in Arizona. So anytime there was water, and it would mess up the roads. The roads just like you don't have drainage. And if it would freeze at night, since the temperature would drop so much, your roads would they'd melt during the day, literally would melt. You could push them around with a stick, like the mud, like you could push it around, and then they'd freeze at night.
Yeah, well, that would track. Yeah, that would track. You see the roads crack and the potholes form, and yeah, I get it. I get it. Yes. But thank you for sharing that.
Just wanted to share.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love Vermont. Hope to make it my home someday. So.
Well, there you go. I'm glad you had a good time. We appreciate you coming up here and then leaving. No, I'm kidding. Thanks for being here, Anne-Marie. I appreciate you.
All right. Have a good day.
Happy New Year. See you later. Bye.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye. It's funny because I've ridden my motorcycle around, or a motorcycle around lots of part of the desert Southwest in New Mexico and Arizona. And I really feel like, for those of you who ride motorcycles, I feel like people, the roads, I feel like at least the major roads were designed by people who ride bikes. Because the corners like naturally bermed and they're wide and they're smooth. It's not so bad. Yeah. All right. A Malaysian man was these are actual headlines from the global headlines from this year. A Malaysian man was reported to be offering his services as a villain for hire for men who wanted to come across as heroes by fighting him off in front of their girlfriends. Shazali Suleiman, 28, said he started his business after being told that his unkempt hair and biker clothes made him look like a gang member. Quote, "Are you tired of your partner thinking of you as weak? For a reasonable fee, I can help you prove them wrong." He promised on social media, clients can decide the precise time and place for the confrontations. He said, "It's all just an act." He added, "No one gets hurt. I am the only loser." Ladies, you don't need me to, I'm not even going to comment. The male loneliness epidemic, right? Yeah. Okay. So these men are so desperate to prove their masculine worth to their partners, they have to pay somebody that they can beat up in front of their partner. "2026 will mean more batteries will be purchased. Remote control devices, Wi-Fi, self-charging, etc." Wow. Okay. Brian Johnson, the tech millionaire known for his strict anti-aging regimen, claimed this year to have the penis age of a 22-year-old. The American entrepreneur told Mail Online that he'd used a sensor to measure his erections through the night, and that the data had shown that his penile health was on a similar level to that of his 19-year-old son, whose erections he's also assessed. "His duration is 2 minutes longer than mine," he clarified on X. "Raise your children to stand tall, be firm, and be upright." The fuck? I mean, what? Okay. He claims to have the penis age of a 22-year-old. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's all men. It does have Mike Johnson written all over it. You're right. It does have Mike's Johnson written all over it. Taken for a ride. A man who bought a 20,000-pound car to replace his stolen Honda Civic discovered that his new car was actually his old car. Ewan Valentine, age 36 from Solihull, woke up in February to find that his Honda had gone. He later spotted the same model with a lower mileage on sale some 70 miles away and went to pick it up. It was only when he was on his way home that he noticed some familiar looking items. A tent peg and Mars bar wrappers lying around in the vehicle, and found his parents' address in the glove box. I nearly crashed, to be honest, he said. It's always dudes. It's always dudes. It's literally like, first of all, researching, I'm going to go back to this. It's researching your penal age. Buying your own car back from you. Okay. A lorry driver from Barnsley had to spend 6 days in intensive care after eating 3 kilograms of cola bottles in 72 hours. Nathan Remington, 33, ordered a bulk bag of the sweets after developing a sudden hankering for them and found that he couldn't stop eating them. By the end of his binge, he was sweating profusely and was in so much pain that he couldn't walk. In the hospital, he was treated for inflammation of the intestine, diagnosed as acute diverticulitis. It was really stupid, he said. You know, the little cola bottle sweets, those things. Again, it's a dude. A woman in the U.S. who wanted to name her baby girl in honor of both of her grandparents decided to combine their names, Charlotte and Harvey, and thus ended up with her daughter called Harlot. Not a dude this time. The 20-year-old mother is said to have got the birth registration documents finalized and only then revealed her choice to their wider family. You named the baby whore? ? A horrified relation exclaimed, at which point the upset mother started screaming. Exactly, Francis. Charvy would have been an option, but you called her Harlot. Not a dude. Not a dude. And then the family responded by saying, you named the baby whore? Okay. Tourists started to flock to a stretch of the Yangtze River in the Hubei province of China after a local man noticed that the cliff edge looked like the outline of a dog's head. He called it Puppy Mountain and posted a photo of it on social media that attracted 100,000 likes in 10 days. It is so magical and cute. The puppy's posture looks like he is drinking water or looking at some fish. Ah. A Dublin woman called for the city's statue of Molly Malone to be raised onto a plinth, and so many people have stroked the fictional fishmonger's ample bosom for luck. The bronze there has lost its patina. I know whenever I get my bosom stroked, I lose my patina too. People clamor around her, kiss her cheek, kiss her boobs. It's all inappropriate. Tilly Cripwell lamented, I walk by the Oscar Wilde statue every day. You don't see people rubbing his crotch for good luck, do you? No, you don't. Oh, this is great. I love these. This is the last one. A cruise company issued an apology after footage circulated of several of its crew members dressed in what looked like Triple K costumes. P&O Cruises Australia explained that its staff were actually dressed as upside-down snow cones for a festive event on the trip last December, and said that the individual in question had never even heard of the Triple K. One passenger told the media that the event had generated a lot of excitement. But when the staff came trooping out in their all-white boiler suits and pointy hats, everyone went very quiet. I don't want to advertise that too loudly because the Christian nationalists and the racist bigot, white supremacists in our country will then use that as an excuse. They'll say, I'm just wearing my upside down snow cone. Nothing to see here, though. Okay. Anyway, I thought those were fun. Let me see what else I have for you here. These are a few more headlines. Should I continue with these? These are fun, right? Okay. There's a story about that's kind of boring. I'm not going to bother with that. Okay. I want to shift gears a little bit and do some hypotheticals from a prediction perspective for this year. Actually, you know what? I think I saw that story, guys, in the chat. I think I do want to get into that because I know that there's reporting that from the double taps that there's no evidence of any fentanyl, F drug. There's no evidence of schmocaine. The only thing that they found washed up on shore is Mary Jane. So we're murdering people for substances that you can buy in many states in our country legally. And there were traces of it, right? So that's just, back to reality real quick. But that's good, right? I'm glad we're doing those things. So great. The first physical evidence that was uncovered was washed up, and it contained MJ, not the C drug, not the F drug, but a substance that is legal in 40 of the 50 U.S. states. But again, nothing to see here, right? Yeah, try it out. Hey, been there. All right, let me just check in over here real quick. Hang on one second, guys. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to do multiple things here. My bad. Okay. Sorry. All right. So let's talk about some predictions. Now, people, I just want to make sure I want to kind of sort of level set. Political predictions are hard to make, right? We know that from polling purposes, and we know that polling is not an exact science. Pollings as predictors from election outcomes are historically bad. Public sentiment polls, like when we're getting polling now from how people perceive the administration, those are much more accurate because that's a measurement of a feeling at the particular time, right? Whereas somebody could, depending on when they're polled, they might decide they want to vote for one person, then they might change their mind last minute. So that's why polling to predict elections is dangerous. But there are a lot of predictions that are on the radar for this year that are historically based. Typically speaking, the party in charge, the incumbent party, suffers badly during the midterms. So let's talk about why we think a lot of these things will happen. Well, we know that the midterms so far are trending towards Democrats retaking the House. I want people to understand that the Senate obviously is a much steeper hill to climb, right? Just because of the way the maps work, and there are just as many. I think there are 26 states that have Republican legislatures compared to 24 that have Democrat-led legislatures. Now, that's not necessarily indicative as to how the state will vote, but it's problematic when you get red states like Montana and Wyoming and some of the states in the Midwest. Some of those states are coming up for re-election. Very unlikely that a lot of the Senate seats will flip. But you've got Maine, and you've got North Carolina, and you've got Ohio, and you've got Texas, right? We really don't know what's going to happen in Wyoming since Cynthia Lummis, the Wyoming senator, decided that she's not going to run for re-election. So does that mean somebody like a Liz Cheney jumps back in the ring? Now, yes, Liz Cheney is a Republican, but she's more moderate, right? I mean, she's become more moderate, I should say. We don't know. But the House is a different story. Depending on what stories you want to read, or depending on which prediction model, you hear anything from 20 to 25 seats up to 40 seats. I think 20 to 25 seats is a realistic swing. Now, we know the Democrats are going after the mail. We've talked about this yesterday, about how they're trying to change postmarking rules, and that is specifically designed to inhibit and limit and suppress the votes for American citizens, which is diabolical, which again proves once again that Republicans can't win elections on policy. They have to cheat. Midterms are almost always punish the government. This is a synopsis of how midterms, historically speaking, how they are, or how we can predict them. Midterms almost always punish the governing party. Voters are increasingly anti-incumbent rather than pro-opposition, which is true. Ticket splitting continues to rise. Voters will punish individual lawmakers more than parties. And that's true in many, many cases. House control will likely flip or tighten to razor-thin margins. Yes or no? Senate outcomes hinge on just a few swing states. Control may not change even if national sentiment does. I think that's reasonable too. Now, the thing about the Senate, don't forget, it's a 3-seat majority right now, 53-47. Even if one or two races flip, right? Even if you, for example, if you win Maine, I think Maine is really in play. Graham Plattner's raising a ton of money. He's leading in the polls over Janet Mills. Tom Tillis retiring in Texas. I think Roy Cooper in North Carolina. Roy Cooper really, really popular there. I don't know what's going to happen in Kentucky. I know Andy Beshear. I don't know what his situation is, if he's going to wait and run for the presidency. I'd love to see him run now as a representative of the party and say, I'm going to run for Senate. I think it'd be an amazing thing. Things like that. The Senate, even if it goes to 51-49, we've seen enough of the moderates in the Senate being really opposed to Trump's agenda. Now, would that be a way to potentially get more legislation passed? Would there be more appetite for some of the moderates in the Senate to say, let's get rid of the filibuster? I don't know. I guess we'll talk about that as we get closer, but that's something to keep in mind. Congress, either way, is going to remain functionally gridlocked. If the Republicans maintain their majority in the House, which they're not likely going to do, we went through this exercise yesterday where this has been the two Congresses that Mike Johnson has overseen, the last one and the current one, are two of the most ineffective Congresses we've ever had, passing like record low amounts of bills, showing that they're incompetent even when they hold all the levers of government, the courts, the House, the Senate, the White House, et cetera. It will likely get worse, which is not a good sign, right? We don't want that to happen. We want movement. But I think when the Democrats win control of the House, and they will, right? I'm thinking positively, and they will. What I want to see is legislation that's going to be introduced that's going to help people. We talked about this. Expansion of rights. I want people to be talking about Medicare for all. Putting Republicans on blast with their votes, right? Putting them on blast, saying these are the things that the American public wants. We are doing things to address affordability. We are doing things to address tax cheats. We are doing something to address price gouging. We're doing things to address healthcare, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I want to see. And I don't want to go through the exercise of impeachment. I don't see 67 votes in the Senate. I don't see that happening. So I would rather just drag members of the cabinet in for hearings while you're passing bills, while you're forcing Republicans to vote against things that will help people. That's what I want to see. So that's part of the gridlock. Yes. The gridlock now is self-inflicted because Republican policies are not beneficial to the overwhelming majority of Americans, including their own voters. Right? So I think you might see, I was going to say that, Chris. I think you're going to see members of the cabinet potentially impeached because I think there's a lot of people on both sides of the aisle that are so disgusted by Pam Bondi and by Kash Patel and by, others, right? There's reporting actually on that topic. Let me see if I can find this for you. Where is it? This is reported by the Independent. Speaking of corruption and speaking of people that are just incompetent for their jobs, Trump officials shielded border czar Tom Homan from normal vetting despite the bribery probe. This reported again by The Independent. An FBI investigation into the hiring of President Trump's border czar led the top agency officials to bypass typical security clearance procedures, a new report claims. Homan's status as target of a bribery investigation by FBI, who allegedly recorded him accepting $50,000 in cash, a bag of cash, from operatives posing as businessmen, was passed to Emil Bove days before his appointment as acting deputy attorney general in late January. Bove, formerly Trump's personal attorney, served as a top liaison between the government and the transition before he himself joined the DOJ. Bove and other top members of the Trump's transition team worked to ensure that the FBI investigation didn't cause hiccups in Homan's background check process when the information reached them in early January, days before the inauguration and weeks after it typically would have come up in the background clearance process. The delay was due to Trump's team not submitting Homan and other incoming officials' names to the FBI to begin the background check process until December of 2024, a month later than usual. Same thing happened in the FBI. Dan Bongino, other members of the FBI leadership team were not subjected to lie detectors and or thorough background checks. So what I want to see for the next Congress is people like this investigated, dragged in front of members of the House and the Senate potentially to answer questions. Did you take a $50,000 bribe in a bag of cash? Did you? We'll see. All right. No matter who controls Congress, there's going to be gridlock. Whether the Democrats win the House and win the Senate, there's going to be gridlock because you're not going to see a lot of bills that the president's likely to sign into law. Who knows? There may be some that are veto-proof. I don't know what that's going to look like, but you're not going to see a lot of relationship between the House and the Senate. Ironically, though, you're not getting that now. I mean, there's arguing among Senate leadership and House leadership. We've seen that happen, right? So expect more of that. Not a good thing. Congress needs to function. It's not a good thing. But let's be sure that we're investigating crimes. Like now we know, for example, more investigations are going to be required into what happened in the Caribbean. Because initially the argument was the F drug. Then we know it wasn't the F drug. Then the argument was, well, it was the C drug. Well, that argument fails considering we pardoned like one of the world's leading C drug traffickers. And we also learned that these boats weren't even heading to the U.S. They were going to Suriname, which is a hub to distribute illicit substances to Europe. So that needs to be investigated. Pete Hegseth needs to be dragged in front of the Armed Services Committee and other committees in the House and the Senate and answer questions under oath. That's what needs to happen. That's where I would think taxpayer dollars can be wisely spent, right? All right. State governments. Keep an eye on state legislatures, right? Keep an eye on, cool. That's cool, Alejandro. Good for you. That's so sweet. Tell you what, Alejandro, when you want to have a conversation about fraud, let us know, okay? So that we can have that conversation, and then I can remind you all of the people that Donald Trump has pardoned who've committed fraud, who are actually in jail for that, all right? So I just want to remind you of that. So if you'd like to have that conversation, just let us know, all right? Cool, thanks. Going to be a lot more attention paid to state legislatures. A lot more attention because you're going to see mifepristone, you're going to see attacks on women's rights. You're going to see this more and more and more. So be really paying attention to state legislatures. Make sure you're watching these special election results. Make sure you're registered to vote, right? Election rules, education standards, labor policy, climate policy, all these things, they're going to be front and center. But a lot of them are going to be decided at the state level. States' rights, right? Yeah, exactly. Media fragmentation will likely deepen this year, primarily because of all the consolidations and mergers that the FCC has approved. Funny how the Republican Party economically used to be about, no, we don't want monopolies. No, we don't want that. That's dangerous. And here they are signing off on monopolies, in particular in media, right? I know, Mew. I know. Can't even trust the media now. Let's talk about that briefly. And I've mentioned this before, okay? I'm a fan of the press. I've said this to you guys before. I don't think the freedom of the press under the First Amendment gets enough attention because of how important it is, right? We know what good journalism looks like. It's not Nick Shirley, okay? We know what investigative journalism looks like. We know why it's necessary, because without it, we would not get a peek into the corruption that we're seeing across all industries, et cetera, right? The question is, how do we regain trust in the media, right? How do we regain trust? And to me, it shouldn't be overly complicated. It's about education, right? It's about reminding people that, listen, don't do what Red did earlier and only read a portion of the story instead of reading the rest. We know, for example, that our friends on the right are headline watchers. That's all they'll look at. They'll look at the headline, and their media sources take advantage of that. Their media sources will put a salacious headline or a highly engaging headline that's intended to drive an emotional response. They'll use that, right? They'll flash the chyron on the bottom of the page. They'll say things that are just completely not true. Propagandize disinformation, and then their watchers, their viewers won't look past it. Like example, I read to you guys last week, the top 5 stories as it relates to the e-files that Fox is covering has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Not one of it. That the president of the United States is implicated in these things because his name's everywhere, but they don't talk about it that way. So of course their viewers aren't going to see that, right? So how do we work our way through it? The question is, are we able and are we capable of regaining trust? I guess we'll find out. We'll find out soon enough, too. Rant Man, how are you today?
Good morning. I just wanted to get on and say I hope you have a personally great new year coming up. I am not.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I am not too encouraged, but I am encouraged by the fact that I think the momentum is shifting a bit. I think there are a lot of nervous MAGAs in Congress, even fence sitters that may not publicly be voicing their support of this terrible president, but maybe the momentum will shift. I don't know. I don't know how significant that will be in what we see, but maybe behind the doors leading up to 2026 midterms, there will be, an exodus like the Israelites in Egypt. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing that already. We know that there's a lot of members of the Republican Party that have said they're going to not only retire from Congress, but leave before their term's up, starting with MTG. Like, I think Monday is like literally her last day. And I think the more of that you'll see, that potentially puts the Democrats in the majority in the House even before the midterms. We'll see.
Yep. We'll see. But you have a good one, my friend, and I'll be listening.
Thank you too. Thank you, friend. Happy New Year.
Thanks.
You too. Be safe. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point, right? I think that there's everything. I'm so tired of the word unprecedented. Could we have something that's precedented every once in a while? Right? Like everything in this day and age is becoming unprecedented because of our president, right? Everything he says is unprecedented because he's a malignant narcissist, fascist, fucking ignorant buffoon who's a predator. Twice impeached, 4-time indicted, sexually abusing fraudster, convicted felon, name on a list predator. Period. We'll see. Again, media fragmentation. There's no consistent narrative connecting around elections anymore, right? Because one of the key, and I don't ever forget this, one of the basic foundational element of our democracy is a peaceful transfer of power, which requires people to trust the election process. I don't think anybody does anymore. That's unfortunate. And that you can draw a direct line to the people that are responsible for that. And we know and they're still sowing distrust. Hey, 75, how are you today?
Good. And you just made the perfect segue for the comment I wanted to make. Just everyone be aware that there's several creators that are posting the details, but they just changed the law about postmarking mail so that now when you go to the post office and drop it into a blue box or any place where the mail is being picked up on a schedule, you're no longer getting your mail guaranteed to be postmarked on the day of handling. They're now extending it to the time that it reaches a distribution center, which could be days after you've dropped it off. And this is critical to mail-in ballots. So this is the election connection. If you are inclined to do a mail-in ballot or you have no other option in your life, you really must make a concerted effort to go inside the post office and get a hand stamp. And then, quite honestly, I've done that for other things. They'll give it back to you and you can mail it into the slot or you can let them take it. Take a picture of it before you put it in the slot, because this is just another way for them to make mail-in ballots become disqualified en masse.
Agreed. Yeah, again, it's pretty diabolical. Explaining once again, if Republicans were so confident in their policies and they could win an election fair and square, they wouldn't have to do things like this.
Right. And even to the ones that are exiting or bowing out or saying they will, they are still signing policies like this on their way out the door. They cannot be trusted, even if they're deciding to, take themselves out of the picture. They're making sure that they're going to do every single thing they can before they leave.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with us, friend, today. Be safe out there, and thank you very much, and have a happy New Year to you and your family.
You too. You're doing a great job.
Be safe.
Bye.
Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. Again, this is not just about voting. This could be about filing your taxes. This could be about, deadlines for things that have to be postmarked by a certain date. This is everything. I mean, I would imagine these things are going to be challenged legally because, and again, I think it's really good advice, right, to walk into if you can, walk into your local post office, right? By the way, our post office in my town is like in the back of a little store, which is fucking wild. Anyway, it's great. You can get donuts on your way in. You can get maple candy on your way out and mail your letter. So if you have the opportunity to walk up to the counter and get the stamp, I would recommend you do that. I would imagine something like this is going to be challenged. I don't know how or in what way, but I would imagine this is going to be challenged. So we'll see. We'll see about that. It's crazy. Hey, brother, how are you?
Good. Happy New Year.
Same to you, my friend. What's going on?
Also, a couple of those stories you read, they had to be New Hampshire in there somewhere. I mean, you can't just open Florida,
Well, yeah. Well, New Hampshire is the Florida of the North.
It is. It's what we call it Mississippi. So,
If you know, you know.
Yeah, you know. One thing, a lot of people don't mention as far as taking over both the Senate and the House that are very important is the Supreme Court. Because both Alito and Thomas are up there in age. And you don't want him being able to appoint two more. So I'm wondering if they see the writing on the wall, are they going to try to get Thomas and or Alito, one of the two or both of them, to quit so they can try to get some in before the midterms?
There's talk about that. To be perfectly honest, I'm surprised that either Alito or Thomas has not retired yet. To be perfectly honest with you, for the reason for the exact reason that you point out, Chris, is that they want. And you're going to get people that are even more extreme than those two, most likely.
Oh, absolutely, you would. Absolutely, you would. I mean, the big thing is under your little bitch boy, little Mikey, Congress has completely abdicated all power to the presidency. Congress has done nothing.
Nope.
So the big thing is you need the Democrats to at least take back the House, to take back some of the power, take back the purse strings. Because he's just spending like a drunken sailor. He's doing whatever he wants. Everything's done by executive order. And Congress is just sitting there. Little Mikey Johnson's going, oh, I don't know. I didn't see that. I don't know.
Oh, I know.
But Joe
that was
Biden.
Embarrassing yesterday.
Yeah.
What about Biden?
But it's all Joe Biden's fault because, fraud. I love the best one, speaking about fraud, about Medicare fraud, is when Rick Scott gets on there. That's just wonderful. When Rick Scott sits there and goes, oh, yeah, all the fraud they commit. Gee, Rick, you know.
Yeah, one of the biggest perpetrators of Medicaid fraud in history.
Oh, it's the largest in U.S. history. Yeah. It was the largest U.S. history, but All right, but anyway, listen, you have a great new year.
You too, man. You too.
And take care.
Go Pats. Take care. See you later.
Yeah, I'm not a crap.
Sorry. I'm sorry, friend. Sorry about that, Chris. It's interesting because somebody mentioned New Hampshire, and I was in a live over the weekend, and Francis was in there, and the person I was speaking to, I asked the question, I said, "You're from New Hampshire, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And Francis comments, "Well, there it is." So, listen, just to be clear, I've got friends that live there, but even those of you who live there know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Because you get like Nashua, even Manchester South. It's pretty liberal, it's pretty progressive. It's like Massachusetts North. But above that, that's why I want the bridge. That's why I want the bridge to go from the Vermont border over the Connecticut River, all the way over the state of New Hampshire to the coast. I'd be fine by that. I would be totally, totally fine with that. No issue at all. Mass Jike here. Yes, exactly. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, my friend. I'm doing all right. We survived the atmospheric river over here in Cali.
Yeah, you guys got some wild ass weather out there, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. In my area, there was a ton of flash flooding. Some people lost their homes. Some people died. They got swept away. It made new riverbeds, tore up roads. Wrightwood, our ski resort, and everything were evacuated. It was bad. And then I just saw on the news this morning. Oh, my little guy's waking up. That the Angeles Forest highway is shut down because of rock slides and mudslides that have torn up the roads through the mountains. So, yeah, we got hit pretty hard.
But climate change isn't real, Michelle. Not at all. Total hoax.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, total hoax.
But I just wanted to get up and say, we survived. We're doing okay, and I'm wanted to say Happy New Year to you all of Facts Spam, and I'm so looking forward to getting this tour going. Let's go. Let's do this.
I am with you, friend, and thank you, Michelle and Fish Trucker, for being part of our little team, our little side team, along with Sam, to try to put these pieces together. I really appreciate all you've done, and there'll be a lot more to do. I know we had a little pause, but only because we got a lot of other shit going on. But I am ready. I am ready to hit the road, and it's been great getting to know you, and I'm so glad you're part of our little fam. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys too, and your mods are fantastic. And let's get Steve up to 500,000 likes. Come on, people. It's New Year. Let's go.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Michelle. Happy New Year to you and yours.
You're
Be
very
safe.
welcome.
All right, talk to you later.
Thank you.
You got it. So let's get to 500,000 likes, guys. That'd be great. It's a really, these are the kinds of things that I don't want to say this. We can't ever turn away from things that we know are out there every single day, like, for example, climate change. It's real, and the president literally vetoing a bill that would have provided clean water to people in Colorado. We know storms are much more extreme than ever. We know that there are droughts happening. We had a drought in Vermont. That doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen, right? So we know these things are real. So again, what are the things that you stand for? 2026 will be hotter than 2025. We know that to be true. We can't ever forget that we want legislation that can address pollution. Instead, what we have now is loyalists in charge of the EPA, loyalists who are basically all on board with deregulating polluters. So polluters can just pollute at the expense of us, our future, our planet, our children, but we care about the kids, right? Mm-hmm. Got it. Totally got it. Yeah. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm. It's a rough day. We'll talk later.
Okay.
had a conversation with my sister and mother up in Canada. So it's.
I'm sorry, man.
We're staring down the barrel right now, but
sorry.
I appreciate it. Two quick things when you were doing your which story is real, which story is fake thing.
Yeah.
Please don't start any of them with Florida man, because either one could be accurate, or a Japanese company. Either one could be accurate. It's not fair. It's when you're saying, oh, well, you're not media literate. It's like, dude, Florida man, uses iguana to rob somebody, or Florida man eats a brick. Yeah. Either one is accurate.
That's good. It's a very, very good point. It's a very, very good point. Yes.
I mean, when I'm sitting here scratching my head,
it's a very good point.
It's not my media literacy. It's my suspension of disbelief with these window lickers. But
I always remember the Bugs Bunny cartoon where he takes a giant saw and he cuts Florida off from Georgia.
Yes.
South America, take it away. Due respect, Francis. Due respect to our blue dots that are down there. Jump ship now.
But you with one of the stories, you reminded me of an old news story, and this thing has gone so wrong in recent years. But I remember back in the 70s, it was one of those TV shows, like Weird People or something, where there was just these tiny little snippets of real life stories. But there was a couple named Daub, D-A-U-B.
Real People was the show. I was on that show. I'll tell the story.
That's funny.
Yep.
But they did a 2-minute bit on this couple named Daub. I will never forget this. Last name is Daub, D-A-U-B, and they just had a baby. And they named him Zippity Doo. And you can Google, the guy is still out there. And now I was even thinking about this recently. It's like, wow, that didn't age well. Did not age well at all. He can't even explain to younger people where his name comes from.
No. He can't. He can't. That's a good note. Yeah. No. Note to self, never start a sentence with a Florida man.
Yep.
Or never start a sentence with military intelligence.
Well, exactly. Well, it's not you can start a sentence. Don't give me a choice of two options.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's very fair.
You could make up the most banana story. You could pull something out of your hat and start it with Florida man, and we'll all go, yeah, it tracks. That makes sense.
Yeah, I hear that. Listen, I'm sorry about what's going on. Let's connect later, okay?
Sure, absolutely. And we're getting more rain here too today. So
it's pretty wild. It was 25 below here yesterday, and it's supposed to go up to like the teens today, so like a 45-degree swing. But
we had some massive flooding here last week, and now we're supposed to be getting more through. I think middle to end of next week, right when I'm having my first cataract surgery. Whee!
Oh, that'll be fun.
Oh,
party on, Wayne. Good. I appreciate you, brother. Let's hope 2026 is better for you. I appreciate it.
Gosh, let's hope so, man. All right. Thanks, pal.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
All right. I gotta fit. This thing went away. I've got to do this. Sorry. Hang on a second. Cool. Bad spelling. All right. Move this over here. Here we go. Let me just check in again real quick. Thank you to Marion. Thank you so much, Marion. I appreciate you. Dollar Train has been started by Marion. Yes, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate you. I got that one earlier. Let me see over here. Thank you to, hang on a second. Thank you to A and C. Appreciate that for your $3 contribution. Thank you for Jennifer. Thank you for what you do. Happy New Year. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate that. And thank you, Lisa. I just got that now. I apologize. I didn't see that sooner. Let me update this again. Hang on a second. That would be that. Okay, so the request was to see if we can get to 500K today, and if we could bang out that goal today, that'd be fantastic. We are crowdfunded here. I appreciate you guys. This is Tommy. What am I listening to? This is Tommy Lahren. This is from... Let me just play this and see what this is.
And you'll never believe where Joe Biden was spotted. Spoiler alert, he's on vacation. And you'll never believe where Joe Biden was spotted. Spoiler alert, he's on vacation.
Okay, it's from yesterday. December the 30th, Joe Biden's on vacation. Okay, cool. Can you imagine being that obsessed still with Joe Biden? All right, back to our list. Okay, media fragmentation will deepen. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse over this whole thing, but we've got to do something about this, right? I really appreciate, you guys are committed and dedicated to people that are in here every single day, and you'll sit there and listen to us for 4 hours, and we work hard to put a show together for you, and you know how we cover the news, right? I've said this before. We would rather be last and correct than first and wrong. That's our commitment to you. We're going to fact check stuff. We don't ever want to tell people they can't share information with us, but we generally try to like to break the news ourselves if possible. Not because we want to own it, but just we want to make sure that we're not providing, or we're providing as much accuracy as possible, right? I've got really strong opinions on things. I will always offer my opinion. And if I'm wrong, I'm the first person to admit it. Like earlier, if I said somebody was guilty and they weren't, that's on me. I'll own that. The problem is there's not enough of us that are doing that. There's a lot of creators in this app that I really respect that are doing the work, that are really doing the work, that are investing the time, that are looking past the headlines. But as we've discussed many, many times in this space, so many people in our country are so media illiterate that it's going to make it impossible for those of us who are working really, really hard to break through. So that's why it's really, really important. That is part of the next evolution of our education system. Remember, I built an entire curriculum for media literacy, right? And if we had public educators that could adapt just 10% of it, it could make a massive difference as we're fighting back against the red pill, as we're fighting back against the manosphere, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's so much that we have got to accomplish, and a lot of it comes with how we are consuming our media, where we're getting it from, who we're getting it from, whether or not we're willing to be fact-checked in real time. Can we admit when we're wrong? I don't have a lot of faith in mainstream media. Not the journalists themselves, but just the way in which it's packaged. That's their fault. Okay? Yeah, I did say he was indicted. I did say he was indicted, yes, but I think at one point I might have said he was guilty too. But my concern is about how, mainstream media's got themselves to blame in many cases, right? Because they don't ask the hard question. They don't ask the next question. They just leave us to these sensationalized sound bites. When you have people that you're interviewing and they're flat out fucking lying, then call them out. Don't pussyfoot your way through it. That doesn't help anybody. That helps literally no one. We become victims again. Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for letting me up. You just said what I was going to say. Take care, everybody.
No, go for it.
Literally, as soon as I hit the button, you were like legacy media. It's frustrating for me, and I appreciate guys like you. I do listen to you in the morning, and I do appreciate what you do, man. And and honestly, let's be clear about this. And this is in no way, and I know you will appreciate this. I don't trust you either.
And you shouldn't. Exactly. That's exactly the point.
I believe you, and I listen to you, and I know, and you can trust a friend that they're, not friend, but you understand what I'm saying. A mutual, that you are looking into things and you're doing your due diligence. And when you give examples of your ability to apologize, like say, I'm sorry, I got that wrong, then you have further faith in that person and their, in their conjecture. So I appreciate you, man. And legacy media is shitting the bed, dude. I honestly, I would watch Morning Joe, every morning I'd get up and I'd watch some guy that pirates it, on YouTube and watch that. And I'll tell you, man, it gets frustrating when you have Joe Scarborough say the president said yesterday, or the president yesterday, the president did. And I'm like thinking Epstein files. Fuck this, man. Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry, chat. But anyway, happy New Year to you, bro. I hope you have a great night tonight. I hope you take some, I hope you always, feed your peace, because man, this shit gets to me. When I listen to a live, I get anxiety, and I'm sure a lot of your chat fucking feels the same way.
Agreed. I appreciate you. And thanks for joining in. Thanks for being a loyal listener. I love your content, Tom. Thanks for being here, bro. I appreciate you, and have a good New Year to you as well.
Thanks, man. You as well. Thanks, buddy.
See you later. Take care. Bye. It brings up a good point, right? I mean, this is the point. I'm glad you said what you said. I am not asking you to trust me because of our relationship. I am asking you to hold me accountable. That's what I want. My mods know that about me. My friends know that about me. If I am wrong about something, I'll own it. I have no problem owning it. That's why we are so diligent in the way in which we cover the news. That's why we are going to make historical comparisons. Now, you might not agree. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I mean, I appreciate people trusting me. I feel like I've earned a little bit of that just through the work that we do here. But it's not just about me. It's just about people that you trust, right? It's more about whether or not what they're saying gives you the ability to look past what it is that they're talking about. Like, what did Steve talk about? What was he saying about marijuana? There was no cocaine or fentanyl. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So then we look a little bit more, and then we realize that the lies that are coming from the administration are easy to debunk. That is the most frustrating thing to me about this whole endeavor that we call TikTok, right? I've mentioned this before. I got on TikTok years ago because I wanted to test drive some comedy. I do stand-up comedy as a hobby, although it had been a while since I've done any. But that's what I do. And I'm like, this might be a good place to try to test drive some of my jokes. Who knows? And then all of a sudden I realized, man, there's just a lot of misinformation out there. I'm like, don't facts still matter anymore? And that's how that became a thing. And I continue to watch it. And I'm thinking, this information is so easy to debunk. And we know from talking to people, from the research that I've done, from working in media, I know how information is packaged. I know how it's disseminated. I know how it's shared. And then when you finally get someone who is in opposition to what we talk about here, we find out where they get their news from. And then none of us should be surprised, right? People, we have to, I'm be careful how I say this. This is in no way defending anybody on the right. But when you get your news from places like Fox and from Newsmax and from Reddit and from, right-wing conspiracy theorists, and you get it all day long, every day, of course you're going to believe it to be true. That's the power of media manipulation. That's the power of propaganda and disinformation. You're sitting there and you see edited videos, you see the president make statements, you see all the lies that are spread. These people that are giving you this information in your mind, in their mind, have become credible to you. Like, they're people that trust Tucker Carlson or that trust, Jesse Waters, right? That's dangerous because people can say, wait a minute, how do you know your information's correct and my information's wrong? Because that's what we do here, is we look past that little headline. What does this story mean? For example, we've been careful about how we want to cover the Jeffrey files. There's a lot of information in there. And the way I've chosen to approach this is that we're not going to just read every snippet of information that comes out because a lot of it is triggering. I don't want to re-traumatize survivors and victims. There's also a lot of information that, from the headline perspective, people on the left are just jumping on. Like, what does this story mean? Just because there is an incident report does not mean it's criminal, right? I know you guys know that because you're the smartest chat on TikTok. That is the advantage of people, independent journalists, not being, mandated to share stories in strange ways or in manipulative ways. So my expectation, 2026 will be on you to hold me accountable. That would be my expectation. If I'm wrong about something, I want you to tell me. I can take it. It's no problem. I mean, don't forget, I have an 18-year-old daughter. I'm wrong about everything anyway, so I'm used to that. So, seriously though, for all of us, I mean, I think that would be something we should all work on, right? We should all work on accountability. Being vulnerable, being willing to admit when we make mistakes about something. It's a sign of growth. It's a sign of maturity, and we need that in our team. I respect my mod team so much because I can challenge them and they can challenge me. And that's the whole point. And that's how we get to where we want to go. I share with them, like, I have an idea for a topic. I'm like, I don't know how to cover this, you guys. And they'll be honest, right? I was recently invited to join a group of right-wing creators to do debate night. And I'm like, why would I bother to do that? Why would I share the work that we've done just so that they can gain more credibility on my clout? And I was ready to do it. And my mods were like, don't bother, Steve. It's not worth it. To what end? What are you going to do? And I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So thank you, mods, for that. And just thank you, all of you, for holding us accountable. That's what we want. In fact, we want our journalists to be held accountable. All of them, for not asking the right questions. So thank you for that. Rocky, how are you?
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Sure. What's on your mind?
Just continuing what you said about the media, especially that right-wing Fox should have I think they should legally have, any cable network should have a disclaimer before they come on. Every show that comes on, they should tell people that they're a syndicated cable network. They're entertainment only and opinionated. News is here. Are you ready for some bullshit? And that's how it should be. Now you have critical thinking, and I consider myself with some critical thinking, and this country lacks a lot of critical thinking. People don't know the difference between BS and what's happening and how they could twist and spin things. Now, I just wanted to go on here and tell you about the Happy New Year 26 and what will happen. I guess that's what you're saying there. I think it's going to be a lot of, I think, and it's writings on the wall, is going to be a lot of civil unrest. People are going to be protesting. It's going to continue the King's rallies and maybe, hopefully it doesn't get violent, and people are going to be out and about getting some fresh air and doing some walking and doing a resistant type thing to this regime. And it's just Citizens United needs to be repealed. You had a guy on there just talking about Joe. I don't watch Joe Mika no more because they went down there and kissed Trump's ring. So did Bill Maher. They're scared of Trump. It's evident because Trump could literally shut them up, seize their assets, maybe get their banking and there's nothing nobody could do about it, and they're scared of them. They can seize all their assets and their money and and they're scared.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, that's part of that's the problem with corporate media, is that it's all about it's all about likes, it's all about views, about advertisers. So of course they're afraid to cover it, which is unfortunate. But Rocky, thanks for jumping in today. I appreciate you being here, and Happy New Year to you and your family. Be safe out there.
Remember, you got critical thinking, and try to push that on to other people to analyze.
I agree.
And to get a clarity of what is happening in this country.
I completely agree with that. Thanks for that, friend. I appreciate you. Happy New Year. Be safe.
Happy New Year.
He's right. I mean, that's the whole point. That's what media literacy does, right? Media literacy, at the end of the day, that's what education does. Education forces you to be a critical thinker. That's all we can ask, right? So 2026 will be the year of the critical thinker. Real quick, I want to thank Steph for your super chat over on the tube. Hey, Steve, thanks for an informative 2025. Looking forward to your sexy brain every morning in 2026. Thank you very much. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for saying that. It's very kind of you. Appreciate that. Thank you, YouTubers. Appreciate you guys. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube, please do so. Also, please consider subscribing to Twitch. You can find the link in the link tree that's in my bio, or you can just search for us in both locations. I appreciate you guys. You guys are kind. Appreciate you. All right. Thank you, Joe Bess. T-Tone, how are you today?
What's going on?
What's on your mind?
Just what you said about accountability and about how the media should take accountable, and I think everyone in this country should take that a step further, and on both sides of the spectrum. I've been saying it for a long time. Like I think for white males that aren't racists, they need to hold people who are racist accountable, and they need to say, "Listen, you're racist, and that's a problem in this day and age." But I think it goes on both sides, right? So for African Americans who don't tip at restaurants, very few and far between, but other.
Okay. What, bro? What? I mean, come on. Really? Really? Jesus. God, man. Like, what? Okay. I'm just trying to be like you try to come in and you try to soft shoe your way into the conversation, and then that's where you go. Okay. I see many of you MAGA simps here this morning still commenting on the Minneapolis, Minnesota situation. I guess I would ask you this. Are you so, how do I want to say this? I know the answer. Does it bother you that you are so easily manipulated and gullible that you're going to believe a YouTube streamer's investigative reporting? Do you understand that? Do you understand that? That you won't believe news agencies like the Associated Press or NPR or ABC or Reuters or Politico or Straight Arrow News or Ground News or any of those. You won't believe any of those, right? Any of those, but you'll believe a YouTube streamer. And here's the funny thing about it, right? Here's the funny thing about it. Yo, in the comment section, makes this comment. FBI also backs YouTube streamer. Yo, Booby. You're talking about the Pam Bondi FBI. And you think that's a flex? That the FBI also backs the YouTube streamer. This is my point. Thank you so very much for making it for me. I could just take a nap. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? Let me explain it in a different way. You're in a cult. You've been indoctrinated because your argument is, hey, that guy, that YouTube streamer, but the FBI backed him up. Bro, really? That's your argument now? And this is why we joke about this shit, but this stuff fucking bothers me. Bondi isn't the FBI. Bondi is the Attorney General. Okay? That her group heads up. Kash Patel reports to her. Yo. Okay? Like, sorry, but you're just wrong. Wow. Anyway, that shit is scary. I want to bring that up. It's really important. Let's focus on this a little bit. But this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. This is exactly what I could not have made the point any better. Okay? You're talking about a YouTube streamer, right? A YouTube streamer who has been getting dragged everywhere except in spaces that you want to live. And because you think Elon Musk retweeting it, JD Vance retweeting it, and the DHS is now opening up an investigation, you think that makes it real. So you're fine with investigations that are obviously politically targeted, and there's no denying that. You're fine with those as long as it supports your narrative, but Donald Trump can't be investigated. I know Biden's FBI opened up investigations in Minnesota. I know that. Exactly. But you seem, most of you, thank you for being honest. It's the first honest thing you've said. Yes, we know that. But if you want to put your faith into a group of people who, again, the Attorney General, as a reminder, just as a reminder, real quick, the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, puts this out in her social spaces. Day one, the Trump administration and this Department of Justice have been fighting to the end of the drug epidemic in our country. She posts this, right? And the stats show the decline, but the dates, it ends in October of 2024. This is the Department of Justice. By the way, you see it right here, Department of Justice. The Attorney General oversees the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice includes the FBI. This is what your Department of Justice is doing, taking, I mean, basically, thank you, Joe Biden. And then coincidentally, that post got taken down. But nothing to see here, right? Okay. Just want to make sure that we're clear on that. T-Tone, you're not coming back up. You're a racist. Get out of here. Okay. Again, media fragmentation. It's not the fragmentation that I'm concerned about. I'm more concerned about the consolidation. That's the biggest thing. Like this Paramount merger and, you know, and Netflix and everything else and Disney. And it's because, you know, you want options for your media, right? And I'm really, really concerned about the media consolidation. That's bad. As someone who, when I was started in my media career, when I was a freshman in college, I was at 18 years old, working 9 million jobs along with everything else. There was a lot of independent media companies across the country, right? They were independent television, independent media. Some TV networks owned radio stations as well. And then you started to get the Clear channels of the world and the Westwood Ones of the world. They started buying up. Now you get these massive media companies who own properties everywhere. That's dangerous. I'm really concerned about that. So my ask of you is to prioritize independent journalists. Find journalists that you trust. Journalists, not always the publication, but the journalist, and invest in them and support them where you can, and fact check them, and question them, and challenge them, and communicate with them, and reach out to them. And say, listen, I appreciate what you do. I had a question about this particular story. Where was your source? Some of you will be like, yeah, okay, they may not get back to you. And that may be true. Doesn't mean you can't do it, right? In the true do something spirit. So please do your best. T-Tone, you're not coming back up. You said racist shit. So don't bother requesting again. Don't bother requesting again. All right. Scandals that would have once been fatal barely move numbers these days. And it's really true. Trust in legacy media remains low, but no alternative gains universally are credible. I disagree with that. Again, I think individual media entities, state versus, local versus national, right? And then viral moments matter more than policy platforms. And that's very true, right? It's very, very true. It's hard to cover the president. Like I don't always like to have to play his sound bites because I know how irritating it is. But we are a political show. We're more than just politics. We talk about lots of things here, right? But you can't have a political show and not talk about the president of the United States. You just can't. Right. You see what I mean? You see, and this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? Yeah, you're obviously trolling. This is what I'm talking about, right? You were told that was the case. You were told that. You're not willing to address the fact that your guy literally falls asleep in cabinet meetings or in Oval Office meetings or on the interview stage. You don't want to talk about that because you've been conditioned that way. Yo. That's a you problem, yo. That's not an us problem. Yo. Viral moments matter more than policy platforms. Everything our president says these days is a viral moment. Case in point. Case in point when he did that whole, his address to the nation. I know Biden fell asleep like he's fucking old. Should I fall asleep now? What's the big deal? I look at the results. And not backed up Nick Shirley. Yeah. Exactly. The FBI has not backed up Nick Shirley. Cash Patel expressed suspicions, but the FBI has not. I agree. I don't give a shit if they did. It doesn't matter. Thank you, Annabelle. Appreciate that. It doesn't matter. This is the fight that we're all in front of our. It's right here in front of us, right? We get bombarded with information every single day. It's nothing new. Those of you who are in these spaces, you know that. The question is, how do we process it? How do you digest it? And then what will you do with it? I'm glad Chris. I'm glad Chris said what he said, or our previous guest said that. I don't want you to trust me. I'm not. Let me rephrase. I want you to, but I don't expect you to. What I expect is if there's something that we talk about that you're interested in, which is why I get lots of questions after the show all the time. What was it that you talked about? Most of what we talk about ends up in news sources here or in our Discord chat. Not all of it. That's on me. But it's all good, Tom. That was you. That was you. That's right. That was Tom. Thank you for that. And I don't expect that. I don't go into this expecting you guys to trust me. I want you to, but I got to earn it. Same thing with everybody else. Exactly, Lynn. Trust, but verify. Or believe in hopes that I'm not proven wrong, but verify. So that's for all of you, right? That is for all of you. And I want that to be your message. 2026 will be the year that I verify everything. Because it happens in our time. It happens on our side too, right? We've got people on the left that will just jump at the headline, right? So verify, then, verify to trust, I think is a better way to look at it. All right, economic perception, how this is going to impact the election. I've mentioned this before, but a big miss by the Biden administration last year, or leading up to the midterms, and then eventually the general in 2024, is that they did a lousy job talking about economics at the micro level. Yes, they could point to things to say, absolutely, inflation came down during the Biden administration from a high of 9% to 3% at the end of December. But it didn't resonate because the American taxpayer, middle-class America, the working poor, were still believing, or were still paying more at the store. They did a lousy job messaging, a lousy job. Objectively, we should all be able to say that. Now, the Trump administration used that. I should say the Trump campaign at the time, they used that information to win the election. They were able to focus on affordability, that you're paying too much for this, paying too much for that and immigration, right? So instead of attempting to address it by talking to the American public, by just being honest with them, yes, prices are higher than we want them to be. We are working to try to lower your prices. Instead, they just lie about it. There's a fundamental difference, right? Not messaging to it saying, yes, macro, inflation is coming down, prices are still high, blah, blah, blah. What the Trump administration is doing is saying, affordability is not an issue. Stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. And they lie about the numbers. But people like Yo are convinced that the numbers that the administration is putting out are real. Well, Yo, what you should do is you should go look at the BLS data. You should pull the information because this is public information. You can go right to the Department of Labor and you can see in their calculation, they didn't include things. They didn't include things that would normally be part of every single inflation report. So that 2.7 number, bullshit. Fake news. That 4.3% GDP number, again, where does it come from? Because we know consumers aren't buying. We know middle income and the working poor aren't paying for shit. So the investments, the purchases are all coming from the rich. All coming from the rich. What's this guy doing? It's just a weird thing to be in a position where you've got all this information at your fingertips. Why won't you just look into it? Would you rather win, or would you rather be right? Would you rather be able to walk around the street saying, I own the libs? Do you think any of us care? It's not, we don't have to brag about owning conservatives because it's like the easiest thing you'll ever do. Because all we've got to do is tell the truth. That's it. It's pretty much that simple. But anyway, all right. Things feel hard. They do. The harder, the better. But there's data that would support that. So when we want our elected officials is just to say to us, yes, affordability is a real issue. And you're seeing Democratic messaging, right? Talking about it a lot, which I think is an effective strategy, right? Really, really effective. Continue to remind people that our prices are too high. What is the administration doing about it? Because I agree. A strategy going into the midterms, it can't just be about how bad Trump is. It can't be. It's got to be about the solution party. There's one party that's fighting to lower your prices. There's one party that's fighting for your health care. There's one party that wants to put more money in your pocket, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? It can't just be about Trump is bad. Because the natural ebb and flow of elections, especially in midterms, the referendum on the party in power, that's going to happen anyway. You want to put in the mind of moderate voters, of swing voters, of non-voters, like there's one party, right? There's one party that is really trying to solve problems for you. And you know me, guys, I am critical of the status quo Democrats. Absolutely. Always have been, always will be. I'm also a pragmatist to understand there is only one of the major political parties that are doing anything to try to help the middle class. Not enough. Remember, Republicans in this day and age, MAGA Republicans in particular, they cater to the rich, they pander to the rich, and they will do anything to support the rich under the guise of Christian nationalism, racism, et cetera, bigotry. Democratic Party does more for the middle class and the working poor, but not nearly enough. I think that's a pretty accurate assessment of the two major political parties. But what we have the ability to do as people on the left, as leftists, as progressives on the left, we have loud voices and we can push our elected officials to become more progressive. It's not a dirty word. Progressive is not a dirty word. Radical for healthcare, food, water, shelter, not radical. Those aren't radical opinions. That's the danger, though, when you don't speak of things in terms of how do we move the needle? How do we force people to become more progressive? This is the issue I have with the DNC in general. Yes, I understand. Stop speaking like elections are going to what? Are going to save us? You're just making people more delusional? Okay, that's cool. I'm glad you have a picture of Donald Trump in your profile and then you're accusing us of being delusional, but maybe that's just me. Anywho, I want people to understand that you're either in or you're out. You are either a progressive or you are a conservative. You are either pushing the country forward or you are keeping it. I don't care about your comfortable shoes anymore. I want you to be uncomfortable. I want people to be challenged. I think everybody should run. I think no one should be running for elections that are unopposed. I think we've got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. You know that. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I see you got some trolls in the chat. They're doing the work for bootlicking.
They certainly are. Yeah.
I think I wanted to add to this because I think a lot of people don't realize that you can put pressure on the Democratic Party in real and tangible ways by getting involved. Because, we've talked about how we're in a two-party system. There is no clear path for third parties at this point in time. So it's public transportation. Good morning, guys. Good morning. I know I've been MIA because I'm working on campaign things, guys. I got to do the thing. We can bring change. As someone who has been involved with the Democratic Party here in Tennessee, I can attest to the progressivism within the party. And for those of you who are like freaking out, put a heart in the chat. Do you guys like weekends? Do you like 8-hour work days? That's progressivism. That's progress. It's progress with purpose. I wonder who I got that from. So I mean, this is a part of that. Like, if you want progress, if you want your rights protected, if you want your weekends protected, you want your children protected, that's progressivism. It's just moving forward. We're moving forward. We want to see change. We want to see your rights protected. It's not a big, scary word. It's not the same as the fascism that is clearly on the right side. I was thinking about this. Right now, the Republican Party is led by Donald J. Trump, and it has been for the last 10 years. The path of the Republican Party will continue to go where Donald Trump steers that ship. And he is steering it right into an iceberg, for those of you who understand that reference. He doesn't care. The only way to put guardrails up is to put in place a house that can put those guardrails. This won't be fixed in 2026. It won't be fixed in 2028. We have to play the long game, and that requires your activism. That requires you to understand that the two-party system is where we're at, and vote accordingly. Vote on policy, because we can make a difference in 2026. We can make a difference in 2028, but you have to be involved. You just have to decide if you want to be the turf that politicians walk on, or if you want to be a player on the field.
Here's a question for you, Victoria, because you're obviously, when you win your election, you're going to be representing hardcore MAGA from your district. Now, as much as we hear some of the hateful rhetoric and things that they say, and the assaults and the attacks, both physical and literal and figurative, on marginalized communities, you want them to have healthcare, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
You want them to have a social safety net, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You want them to have a livable wage so that their children can have a better future than they did, right?
Yeah, I do. I want them to have public education.
Fucking radical.
It's so radical. And I'll still have my door open. I'll still have my door open to have this. I won't tolerate transphobia. I won't tolerate homophobia. I won't tolerate bigotry or racism. But if you want to come in and talk about your grocery prices, I want you to come into my office. I want you to be emailing me. I want you to have resources, so when you're angry about what's going on, you can come in. I want you to have access to the things that you need, and I want you to have extra money in your pocket at the end of the day. And for the people in the you don't tolerate. No, I don't tolerate hatred. That's the difference. You're allowed to say whatever you want. I just am putting the personal boundary up of I don't accept transphobia in my spaces. I don't accept homophobia in my spaces, and I will call you out for it, because it is unacceptable behavior. Just because you think that it's okay to behave that way, my toddler thinks that it's okay to throw things at me at times. You know what? It's not okay throwing things at me at times. He gets disciplined. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. You want to plug?
Yeah, guys, I'm Victoria Broderick. I'm running for Congress.
Plug your campaign. Is what I mean.
Yeah. Oh God.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, got me. Okay. Guys,
Gotcha.
I'm Victoria Broderick. I'm running for Congress in Tennessee's District 4. I am a working class mom. I worked full time, have 2 tiny humans, 4 fur babies, foster with a local humane society. I do have 2 kittens who are running around currently. If I can catch one, I will let you guys see them. I also have an exchange student at the moment. Guys, I ran my first congressional campaign in 5 months in 2024 because he wasn't going to have an opponent on the ballot, and I set it over my unalived body, and here I am. Now, I need small dollar donations in order to run my campaign. So if you can donate today, please do. We are currently running a $25. We need 2,000 people to donate $25 in order to be a fundraising goal. We want to beat that 50,000 mark, as well as I want to do this full time because I did it with one arm tied behind my back in 2024, and I would like to have both hands free to take some swings at this administration and take some swings for the representation that my district so sorely needs. So if any of that sounds good, go ahead and head on over to the link, send that, you get a handwritten thank you note. If you can't do that, do all the other things to help support my campaign because I'm going to be here. Let me see if I can grab a kit. Got it.
Do it.
I got one.
Oh my goodness gracious.
This
Look
is
at
a little
that.
baby. Little baby. You say hi.
Well, we're in your corner.
She's like,
We're in your corner, we're in your corner, Victoria. Thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate it. And obviously, this is a busy year, and you got some resources here if you need it. So let us know. Appreciate you,
I
friend. Happy New
appreciate
Year.
it. Bye.
All right, see you later. All right, bye. Quick thank you to, let me take care of some of these thank yous. Katra, thank you so much for your contribution. I appreciate you. Happy New Year to you as well. Over in the other area, let's see. Hold on a second. Rhonda, thank you so very, very much. Lisa, I got you. David, facts still fucking matter. Yes, they do. David, thank you for saying that. I appreciate you. Don't forget about, Hunter's laptop. How could I forget about Hunter's laptop? How could I forget about that? Tom, thank you for that, bro. Appreciate that. It was really kind of you. Rainey, also, in honor of a bright 2026, it has to be better. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you guys. And I think I got Nils over here. I did. Stacy, Happy New Year to you as well. Stacy, thank you very, very much. And I appreciate you all for helping us take care of that goal today. Thank you very much. We've got 74,000 more likes to get to 500K. Let's do that. I appreciate you all. So if anybody else in the guest box? Not for now, no. All right. Back to our list. 2026, I think, is going to be interesting politically for obvious reasons, but I think it's what we're looking for is voter activism, right? We're looking for people doing something. And let me talk a little bit about the whole do something thing. I've heard you hear me mention it a lot. What I'm doing is with an army of people that are standing by to help, and I appreciate you all. There's a lot of things that have to kind of happen before it can officially happen. Like, I've got a dog. Can the dog go with me? Is the daughter's busy with college stuff and a whole bunch of other shit going on? But my plan is to travel parts of the country. I want to go and talk to non-voters. Now, I know that there's lots of people on this app that are doing lots of things. There's a lot of people that want to drag in MAGA voters or unhappy Republicans who've always voted Republican. Maybe that's one group of people that folks can go after. And there's plenty of people who can be potentially influenced to change their vote. I want to go after non-voters. And I've said this before, roughly 90 million people. We can clearly, I think it's broken down into two distinct groups, quite frankly. I think there's the two wings of the same bird crowd, two sides of the same coin crowd. And I think those are lazy people. I think those are people who just look to complain. I think a gettable voting block is people who truly are disenfranchised. And there are millions of Americans who just feel like government doesn't work for them. They're hardworking, middle-class, blue-collar Americans in many sectors, all across all orientations, sexual orientations, all demographics, black, brown, indigenous, white. There's lots of folks like that are out there. Those are gettable voters. They just don't feel like anybody is looking out for them. So my mission is to say, what matters to you? What are the things that are important to you? Where do you get your information from? Who do you get your news? Who's a trusted resource for you? What do you want to see for the future of your children and your children's children, etc.? Those are gettable voters. And that's what I want to do. That's what this year means to me. It's something that I want to do. 2026 will put me in front of voters across the country, potentially. So we will be asking for your help. We'll be asking for your connections. We will be asking for resources when the time comes. We will be asking, how we can work together with members of your community, whether it be through Indivisible. There's 50 chapters. Actually, there's more than that. There are indivisible chapters in every state. In fact, in many cases, multiple states across the country. And I'm going to hopefully work with them and a lot of their coordination teams. This is going to be a thing. It's really important to me. I want to make it happen. The plan is to try to do it sometime this spring when I can count on the weather a little bit more. So that's the plan. We'll talk about it more. We're going to probably have more resources available in our Discord that talks about it, how we might be able to lean on you for some help, whether it be hosting, dog sitting. I don't know what that's going to look like, but we're getting there. So thank you for that in advance. Okay, here's this point about the non-voter side. Neither party can govern effectively. And that's a fair statement, right? And I just pulled together some thoughts on some of the things we have to challenge that are facing us as challenges as we head into the election, especially. Neither party can govern effectively. We know that from people's general sense of Congress, right? We've got to flip that script. We're going to say, okay, if you feel like government is not efficient and effective, then what would you do to change it? Why do you feel that way? And then what would you do to change it? What is like one thing that you would suggest? My counter to that would be, then you need to elect different people, right? You've got who's your representative? Oh, this person, they've been in the office for 35 years. Okay. And they represent you, and you're saying that they're not effective, so vote them out. Thank you, Deb. Appreciate you. So vote them out. Okay. And then hold that person accountable. Allow them to hear your voice. Be a pain in their ass. Be a thorn in their side. Also, the system isn't working for people like me, like I just said. And that's true in many, many cases. I did a test drive, an in-person test drive, impromptu, of a Do Something conversation with somebody who lives a mile from me. I think I shared the story with you. They felt completely just disinterested. Like, I feel like, there's things that I care about, like I care about education, but nobody's going to do anything for me, so I don't vote. So we made a date. We're going to meet on election day. She literally lives a mile from me. It's funny. I've seen her like 5 times since then. And I said, we're going to meet up and we're going to go to the polls together on election day and we're going to vote together. And she said, deal. And every time she sees me, she's like, I'm with you, Steve. I'm going to go. I promise. Little things like that, like one at a time, right? The margin of victory for the president was what? 1.5 million votes total? Something like that. He keeps calling it a landslide. But if you break that down, it is Ripple, exactly. If you break that down across swing states, 50,000 votes, 60,000 votes here or there. Imagine if you get 2% of that 90 million group of people that didn't vote or that don't vote. Imagine what that looks like. Imagine if you have 10%, so another 5 million voters or 4.5 million voters roughly. Imagine another 4.5 million voters that you can talk to say, you know what? I want things to be different. I don't want the same. I want affordable health care. I want better schools. I want better roads. I want a more robust infrastructure. I want making sure that democracy still matters to me. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Those numbers become massive. If you talk about wanting to take back the House, instead of a 20 to 25 seat margin, maybe that's 30 or 40. Talking about fighting back in the Senate, because there are red states that are represented in Congress by senators, right? A state like, by the way, should Vermont, 2 senators in Vermont, Peter Welch and Bernie Sanders, so the state's roughly 600,000 people, so they each represent 300,000 people. Should they have as much power in the U.S. Senate as the senators from California? I say no. I say no as much as I love my senators. I mean, I understand you can't control state population, but that's the problem with the system. So if you want to influence people, right, remind them of the fact that there are people that are out there that are fighting for you. There are people that are out there that are willing to listen to you. In fact, so much so that they have introduced legislation to ban insider trading, by the way, introduced multiple times by Democrats, and Republicans are the ones that vote against it. Shocker. Remind them that there are people out there that are fighting to overturn Citizens United, to outlaw lobbying, things like that. Those things are important. If we can all agree that we don't want money in politics anymore, then who are the candidates that are advocating for it? It's not that hard. We're not talking about big numbers here, right? We're not talking about big numbers. 1%, what's 1% of 90 million? What's that, 900,000? That's a massive amount of number. That's a massive amount of people that we can bring into democracy, right? We got to stop settling for 65% of our population and registered voters showing up to vote. We need to demand it. We need to say, this is where we draw the line in the sand. And that's only going to take more people being involved. All the freedoms and responsibility, all the freedoms we claim to have, the expectation as a citizen of our country, you pay your taxes and you vote. That's it. Everything else is gravy, as they say. Can we get outsider candidates? And I want to talk about that. Let's use the Graham Plattner model, right? And I have gone back and forth on this, right? I've come to the conclusion that he is a kind of person that we should expect to become involved in the political process if we want new voices, new faces, and new blood. Now, I don't like his answer regarding his tattoos. It has gotten better. It's gotten better. He's got more work to do. But I see someone who realizes that they made a mistake. I see somebody who acknowledged that mistake. I just wish he had done it sooner before it was called out. I wish he was the one that owned the narrative initially. I wish he was the one that had come out in public and say, listen, I've got this tattoo. I've learned in recent years that it has some negative connotations to it, as opposed to somebody calling it out. Right? So I'm not there yet. I don't have to vote for him. He's in Maine. I use him as an example because if we want more people involved in our democracy, then that means that we're going to have to get off of the script. And I want to say this to you all, and I've said this before. Why do we feel like we have to put our politicians on a pedestal? Why do we hold them, not all of you, but why do we hold them more accountable than we hold ourselves? Should we? We want them to be human, right? I want people with some skeletons in their closet, as long as they're not really bad. I want people who've made mistakes in life. I want people who are willing to be honest. I want people who can be like, yeah, that was a stupid decision that I made. Here I am. This is what I've done since. These are the things that matter to me, and this is what I want to do. But they have to rise above the BS. Yeah, I agree, Corvette. They have to rise above the BS. I agree. The issue that we have, and this is a situation we have on the left, is this is virtue signaling, this bullshit purity tests that we run our candidates through. Friends, Republicans elected Donald Trump twice. I think we can look past things. I think we can look past a speeding ticket or misdemeanors. There are things that are disqualifiers for me, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But we've got to stop this purity test. We've got to stop this entitlement when it comes to looking for the perfect candidate. Because nothing racist, I agree. Nothing racist, totally agree. I understand that. I get it. I completely, no womanizing, no crimes against women or children. Those are deal breakers for me. No doubt about it. Right? But that's my point, is good leaders take accountability for things. That's what good leaders do. That's what we want. I want somebody to be accountable. Okay? That's what I want. We can look at it differently. Like I was just going to say, the advantage of having a big tent is you can hear many, many voices. The disadvantage of having a big tent is all those voices that you hear, everybody's looking for perfection. I don't want perfection. I want humility. I don't care about the absolute perfect picture of a political candidate. I want integrity. I want people who are willing to say, I fucked up. That was a bad decision I made. You can, if you want to not support me because something I did 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, that is your choice. This is what I have done since. I'm not excusing anybody. I am not dismissing things that they've done. I just want people who are humble, who are willing to admit their own mistakes, who've attempted to learn from it and have moved on. Again, let's not hold our politicians to any higher standard than we hold ourselves. Okay? I want to learn from my mistakes. I've been honest about shit that I've done in my past that I fucked up on, right? Why can't we look at politics the same way? I want somebody who drops F-bombs. I want somebody who doesn't care about their picture perfect political their media experience, their media exposure. I want people who are salty. I want people who are willing to put typos out just because they're human. That's what we should want for our elected officials, right? So we'll see how this goes. I'm not there on Gavin Newsom just yet. I mean, he's got a lot of things that he's done that I really like. I think the fact that he's using his press office to go after the president right now is fucking brilliant. I want more about that. Yeah, exactly. Humility. If you have humility, then you can be honest, right? Good grammar. Good grammar would be great. I agree. All right. Institutional stress tests, right? So we've seen this administration test every single small d democratic institution that we have. And it's been effective, right? Well, if the current administration wants to use executive orders to legislate, then why can't we? Why can't we immediately be talking about using executive orders, even though some of them might be questioned constitutionally? Why the fuck not? Exactly. Elbows up. Keep your stick on the ice. Why the fuck not? Seriously. Why can't we try to use the same games? And this has always been the issue that we've had with status quo Democrats, is they want to abide by the rules. I get that. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. So use the same approach, but do it in ways that will help people, right? This administration is using it to punish people, using executive orders to take rights away. I'd say, let's use executive orders to expand rights. Let's use executive orders to progress. Let's use executive orders to attempt to rewrite the code of ethics in our country, for example. Things like that. It worked for them. Do you know what it does? If it's successful and we're able to pull it off, it would help Americans. Millions of people would be helped. That's powerful. You can run on that. You can say, look what we did. Look what this executive order did. Look what this executive order, when it came to, women's rights to their body or protections for the LGBTQI community or voter suppression, etc. Look what it did. Look what it did for millions of Americans. Then you can just compare. Here is the executive orders signed during the Trump administration. They're taking rights away. Never before in American history have we ever lived through a period where rights are being taken away. Would I ever run for Congress? I appreciate you asking, Mama Soros. I feel very fortunate that I've got really good representation in my state. I challenge my elected officials. I've got too much going on to be able to. I appreciate you saying that. I'd love to, but I would rather be an operative, to be honest. I'd rather work on someone's campaign and help them get elected. That's what I would rather do. I'd rather be like the Leo McGarry from the West Wing days. But I appreciate that. But these are the things that we should be able to do, right? We should be able to use the same tools and then just go back and compare. Say, look, these are the things that happened. This is the period of time where rights are being taken away. And again, don't let the right tell you. Don't let the right tell you that they're not taking rights away. They're absolutely taking rights away. Just ignore them when they talk about that. Just ignore them. Just like, yep, got it, cool. Just nod. Don't even give them the fucking time of day. Instead, encourage the next generation of Democratic leaders in government to use the same tactic, but do it to help people. We're going to do executive orders to expand the Supreme Court. Oh, you can't do that. Why not? We're going to do executive order for universal health care. You can't do that. Why not? We're going to do executive orders to introduce legislation for firearm reform. You can't do that. Why not? Force them to respond. Force them to either address it in court or to get a statewide petition, whatever. Seriously, use the power that is given to the executive branch. Use the power of the government, but use it for good. Show people that there actually are people that are out there fighting for them. Not that complicated. And then finally, Let's see. I think I covered that. These are the things that I think are going to be on voters' minds, right? As we approach the election, because there's going to be how do I say this? If the DNC and status quo Democrats and the moderate Democrats, if they don't stay on message of affordability, then they are their own worst enemy, because it's effective. Affordability across the board, healthcare, grocery prices, etc. That is a winning message, because it's always about the economy. It's always about the economy. And I hope they'll focus on that. I also want to focus on immigration. I want to change the narrative. I want to talk about how you can have an effective immigration policy without having masked fucking pussy-ass bitch thugs who think they're special roaming the streets of America, dragging people out of their cars, out of their homes, zip-tying children. Own it. Again, another big mistake the Biden administration made. They did not address, which was mostly a contrived emergency, but they didn't respond to it. They didn't address it properly. Own it. If MAGA conservatives and non-voters seem to think that immigration is a problem, then address it. Here's our solution. I learned this from Rollo. If you want to solve immigration, focus on 3 fundamental truths: family reunification, humanitarian, and economic. You can flex border policy whether it be seasonal, for seasonal workers. You can make sure that you're reuniting families, and you can approach it from a humanitarian perspective. We're not going to zip tie children. We're not going to put them in cages. We're not going to violate people's rights. We're going to do it the right way. We know we've got an immigration issue. We know but it's not about what people think it's about. We don't have enough resources. We don't have enough judges. We don't have enough courts. We don't have enough staff. We don't have enough resources, period. Own it. Own it, because the Democratic Party is about affordability, safety, and freedom. Those are winning messages. 2026 will be the year that status quo Democrats listen to the left within their party. 2026 will be the year that more progressives will get elected. 2026 will be the year that we use the same levers that MAGA has used, but we'll do it for good. Not that hard. It's not that complicated. All right. I think that is everything that I wanted to cover today. Real quick. There are individual things that I think are effective campaign messages, right? Obviously, women's right to their body, protection to the marginalized communities, democracy under threat. Those are all real issues. No doubt about it. They don't move the needle enough, though, because we saw it from the last election, right? They don't move the needle enough. What moves the needle is the economy, and because of the rhetoric connected to it, immigration, thus freedom, safety, law and order, crime and punishment. Those are 2 really, really, really important issues. If you elect progressives, you're going to get women's rights to their bodies protected. If you elect progressives, you're going to see protections for marginalized communities. If you elect progressives, you're going to see a more aggressive approach to public education funding, etc. Those things will happen naturally. From a campaign strategy perspective, keep it simple, stupid, right? KISS. Keep it simple. Affordability, safety, freedom. Those things are winning messages. If you can own it, you can win by doing it. All right. Let me just check in with my mod team. All right. Let me just read this real quick. Hang on one second. Starting tomorrow, Americans in 5 states who get government help paying for groceries will see new restrictions on soda, candy, and other foods they can buy with those benefits. Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, Utah, and West Virginia. all red states, are the first of at least 18 states to enact waivers prohibiting the purchase of certain foods through supplemental nutrition programs or SNAP. It's a part of a push by Robert F. Kennedy and Brooke Rollins to strip foods regarded as unhealthy from the $100 billion federal program, long known as food stamps or SNAP, EBT, that serves 42 million Americans. We cannot continue a system that forces taxpayers to fund programs that make people sick and then pay a second time to treat the illness. Those very programs helped create, Kennedy in a statement said in December. I don't have a problem with I have a problem with what they're doing here, but if we want to talk about making sure that people have access to healthy food, okay. Another argument for universal health care. One of the things that people don't understand enough about this whole thing, one of the reasons that there are restrictions on food in places like the UK and other countries in Europe is because if the government is paying for your health care, we're paying it through our taxes, but if they're providing your health care, they want you to be more healthy. So therefore, they put more restrictions on the kinds of ingredients that can go into foods. I support that. I support that. Sure. Another argument, though, again, you're right, Bananas. It's totally about punishing poor people. It's got nothing to do with health. Totally agree. But I would flip the conversation and say, yeah, we support that too. We certainly believe that we want people to eat healthier. The problem is that can't afford it. There's a small network. It might be across the country. It's a company called Healthy Living. We joke and we call it wealthy living around here. Put regulations on the food companies, no doubt about it. Another argument for universal health care. Own the MAHA movement. Make America healthy again by giving everyone health care. Make America healthy again by making sure that we're controlling what goes into our food. Make America healthy again by telling Monsanto and others to fuck all the way off. This entire approach is racism and dissing the poor and diminishing marginalized communities again. Another example, taking rights away. I'm not for that. I'm for expansion of rights. All right. Thank you for that, Brooke. I appreciate you guys. I think we'll stop. Listen, please, everybody be safe tonight. My daughter's going to a couple of parties with her friends. I tried to organize a group within our mod family to have a little party, but all the millennials in my mod family are apparently don't have the game that they claim to have. But whatever, that's fine, totally fine. I really love you guys. This has been a crazy year. I really appreciate you all being on the journey with us. We've got a lot more to accomplish. We will do it. We'll do what we do. We will continue to share the information as it comes available to us. We'll do our best to navigate. We'll do our best to remind folks that there are many, many things that are worth fighting for, including all of you, including the people that we don't know. Remember, I vote for people that I don't know. I vote for people that I'll never meet because I believe in a society that helps the people that are less fortunate. I'm one of those people that believes the whole all boats rise, right? The more we can do for others, the more we ultimately do for ourselves, right? That is the spirit of do something. There's always something we can do for everyone, no matter who it is. No matter who it is, because the more we do collectively, the better we all are. I love you guys. I think RTP is live. Everybody go say hi to Jay. Thank you all for being here today. Happy New Year. Be safe. We won't see you tomorrow morning, but we'll see you on Friday. Please do something. Please, please, please. Thank you for all the gifts. Thanks for all your support. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on Tuesday.